Hey all, J-Man here. I just want to tell you about beardedshirts.com. It's a great place to get a lot of cool superhero shirts and other merchandise. You can scroll, they've always got sales on. As you can see, they've got these really cool print all over shirts, which I really love. That's Eddie, the founder of the site. And if you're looking for stuff, all you got to do is you click on the search here and you can type in all over. And that's going to show you the all over prints, which are really, really cool. Look at that. You got Legion of Superheroes, you got Brave and the Bold, you got JSA, you got Superman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, all kinds of stuff. So check out beardedshirts.com. Hello, Legionnaires. Welcome to episode 2 of Squadron Supreme. We have 6 issues to discuss here. We're doing numbers 7 through 12 to complete the Squadron Supreme. So if you missed the first stream, it's on there. Go to my website or go to my channel, and you should be able to find it. So we're going to try to cover. There's a lot to talk about, so I want to kind of just get to it a little bit quicker. And just to let you guys know again. Monday is the Legion live stream, so we got 3 more issues of the Legion. I just read the first one. Someone dies in the first one. It's pretty obvious who it's going to be. But anyways, that'll happen on Monday. Tuesday, we're going to finally do Dazzler issues 29 to 32. That's episode 8 of Dazzler. We're coming to the end of Dazzler's run. Wednesday, I'm going to be on the Action Elite Live talking about Kickboxer and Bloodsport. I love Van Damme, so that'll be a lot of fun to do. Thursday, I'm going to go see Alien Romulus, and I'll post a review up on that. I'm not really I like Alien Part 1. I think it's a masterpiece. And Aliens is a cool movie, really good. I really like it a lot. I love it. I say I love it. And then there's the other Alien movies, which are just movies. So we'll see. Oh, I do really like Prometheus. That's probably my 3rd favorite. Then Friday, Fantastic Friday. Oh, sorry, that's not the one. I don't have. Do I have the? Let me see if I have the overlay for Fantastic Four. Yes, I do. Sorry, I showed you the wrong one there. We already covered. So this one we already covered. It was actually pretty good, and that was D-Bud with us there. There's next week's. So there you go. Let's thank the members and let's get going. So these are the Legionnaires, the channel members: Dan, Sean, Stephen, Brennan, Mark D with a CRR, who's backstage. Philip Story, who just changed his avatar to a Kurt Swan Superman picture, which is awesome. And Digger Jim, who's our newest member. Okay. All right, let's bring in, I'm going to turn my camera off and we're going to go. Actually, hold on a second. I'll turn it back on just for a second to show everybody the issues. So there's number 1 we already covered. Just going to show them all and then we're going to start. There's number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. Here's where all the bad guys joined. So today we're doing 7, 8, spoilers, 9, 10, 11, spoilers, 12, major spoilers. That's the whole thing right there. All right. Okay, so let's bring in our first guest. Hey, RR.
Hello, J-Man. Just going to turn my camera on for a moment. So I'm streaming from the car, so that when the crying and the screaming starts, no one in my house gets too upset. I've got my Squadron Supreme. I've got my box of, just show you. Hope you got one, my box of tissues, because it's going to get emotional. And I've been a bit unwell, so I've dissolved some Lemsip, which is a sachet drink with paracetamol and whatnot, which will help when my head explodes when we get to the end of this series. So I'm well prepared.
That's good.
How are you, J-Ben?
I was going to say I have my chair. I have a mix of, this is apple. It's apple flavored sparkling water, and then I squirt like cherry flavoring in that. So it's this little concoction. And then I'm like Conan. I'm a Sumerian. I don't cry, so you'll have to cry for me. You'll have to cry for me. I think last time I cried was when I saw Transformers in '86 in the theater.
I know the exact moment. I saw that.
No, you don't.
Do it now, because there's. Well, okay. Well, we won't spoil it for anyone.
It's not the death of Optimus Prime.
No.
I actually let's bring in Classic Comics. Hold on a second. I don't want to leave him back. Hey, Classic.
Classic.
You're on mute, buddy. Oh, maybe he stepped out for a sec. So I actually get emotional for happy things. Sad things don't really affect me. I actually I get more emotional when it's something happy. So like when Rodimus opens the Matrix and the music starts with Sam Bush. Hour. Yeah, Light Our Darkest Hour. That's I met Sam Bush just like a month ago or a couple weeks ago. I met Sam Bush.
What a legend!
No, he's awesome.
I love that song.
I love all the songs. I love all of his songs.
I'm gonna find it now. I'm gonna find it. Hang on. It's in here somewhere.
I know there was.
Oh, there, Classic. We couldn't hear you. I think you're on mute. You were on mute earlier.
Yeah, I think I was. I was going to say, I know that I think there's at least one song that was originally going to be on this album, for the Transformers movie, but it wound up being moved and used in another film because they had too many good songs on that soundtrack.
I've got that soundtrack at least twice over. Sean picked up the vinyl not too like when they did an anniversary edition, so that was pretty epic. But yeah.
All right. Moment.
Okay. Let's see.
Soundtrack.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know. I've got two of those suckers. Oh, love it.
Glorious.
Yeah. I actually have every piece of music, including the background music from that movie. If you need the files, I can share them with you. But I've got every piece of music that's used throughout the entire film.
Great score, terrific. Oh,
the score is awesome.
Oh, yeah, it's nothing like seeing that film in a cinema with with the big screen in the dark.
Oh yeah,
with all the music. Oh, it's intense, that film.
Yeah, they gave us a poster when we were kids. My grandfather took me, and they gave us a poster. I don't have that poster anymore, but I did see it in the theater. It was pretty damn exciting.
It was.
Joe Dog is here. What's going on, buddy? Comic book question. Oh, great. Thor or Wonder Woman? Okay, let me get back to that. Hey, Skeptic, how's it going? You're gonna cry from the ending. Okay, let's see. Well, it's pretty crazy, actually. So, comic book question: Thor versus. Anytime I get a question of a DC person versus a Marvel person, I always feel the DC person is stronger. I don't know if that's just like in my head. I feel like, I mean, unless you're saying Thor versus Batman or something, but then you'd say, well, Batman could figure out a way to beat him, right? Like the DC guys always felt like they were way stronger to me. I don't know why. What do you guys think?
Probably because in DC they've never really set upper limits for their characters' strength levels,
right?
Where the way they have with Marvel. With Marvel, ever since the first Marvel handbook came out, they've always been pretty precise about how much the Hulk can lift or that the Thing can lift. Now they don't always really stick to that, but they at least have this kind of. They do at least have this kind of benchmark that they work with. And with DC, they've always been pretty reluctant to really put any kind of clear limit on the strength levels of their characters.
I think to answer that question, though, there are a lot of sub-questions you have to answer, like what's the terrain, and also which version, because both characters have different versions. Some versions Wonder Woman can fly, some can't.
Right.
Does Thor have Stormbreaker or is it Mjolnir? Is it worthy Thor? Is it unworthy Thor? So it's difficult. But if we took let's say 1985. So if we pick 1985 Thor against 1985 Wonder Woman, that's hard. I would say if they fight in the Marvel universe, Thor wins. They fight in the DC universe, Wonder Woman wins.
Well, I actually really like Thor a lot, but Wonder Woman's like my third favorite hero, so I'm gonna just say Wonder Woman based on who I like more. So there you go. my basically my top 5 or 6 characters are all DC, but then after that it's all Marvel. So it's weird. Like it's like Superman's my favorite out of everybody, like way above, and then Batman, and then like Wonder Woman, Robin, Supergirl, like just cop out on all those. And I like Aquaman. I like Swamp Thing actually too. And then Green Arrow I like. He's good. Flash are okay. After that though, it's like then you're into like Cyclops, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Hulk, like Daredevil, Hawkeye, Punisher, like Jean Grey, like whatever, all the mutants. So it's like there's just so many Marvel characters that they're all awesome, but the top ones are the DC ones. Like nothing's ever going to beat Superman for me ever.
No.
Not even Hyperion. All right. Okay, so let's do full disclosure here. I read this like right after, so I read it a week ago. I started to take notes, but this is one of these times where you start to take notes, and the thing is like you're never going to finish reading the comic because there's so much going on that if you start to write notes, you start to lose. Like I actually lost myself in the story, and then I start to realize that I'm like, you know what? I'm not really taking very good notes, and even if I was, like, how much am I going to write? Like, I'm not writing an essay. We're going to do a stream on it. I've got 2 other guys who are with me. So, between the 3 of us, we can give it its coverage. And I didn't want to you start writing notes, and then you're missing what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think a comic is meant to be read 2 pages, then pause, put it down, and then write down some notes and then go back. Like you should enjoy the story, like, kind of absorb it and then look at it again after. So, okay.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, because the next 2 issues, well, there's a cross. If you get the graphic or the TPB, there's a crossover with Captain America, which doesn't really affect the story too much, other than we know that Nighthawk starts to recruit supervillains to his cause. But issue 7, now I'd love to hear what you Classic thinks, because issue 7 does a few necessary things, like it introduces us to Master Menace again and sets up his place in the story, but it also sets up the Exchange Hyperion plot. Right. And I'm not sure if that was it takes place over 2 episodes. I'm not sure if it was really necessary for the overall story arc. The replacement Hyperion. It's a twist, and it gives us an epic battle at the end. The Hyperion battle's amazing. But what do you think, Classic? Do you think that, like, if you excise that from the story, the overall story, would it still work?
Sure. I mean, like you say, I don't think that the Hyperion switch, body swap story is not vital to the overall Utopia storyline. Kind of like Nuke's death in the earlier issue, wasn't really vital either. So there are some sort of plots that aren't specifically playing into the whole Utopia plan. But I definitely am glad it's there. I think it makes it a much better story.
Yeah, I'm mixed feelings. So not skipping ahead too far. So this issue, J-Man, the one with Master Menace, is that Master Menace, to cut a long story short, arranges for a swap of Hyperions. And the Hyperion that we know and love from this dimension is banished to an interdimensional space. And the villainous Hyperion of Earth 712, or wherever it is, the member of the Squadron Sinister, he's brought in to replace the original Hyperion in exchange. So Master Menace's plan is his evil Hyperion substitute will help defeat the Squadron, and in return, he will reunite that character with Thundra, who he had fallen in love with, because that's his sort of primary motivation, his companionship.
Yeah, so we're right before that. So here's Master Menace. We're finally seeing Nighthawk, though we haven't seen him now for a while, not since that very first. I don't remember the issue. I don't know if it was issue 1 or 2, but like we're now seeing him. And I actually already owned that Captain America issue because I was collecting I was collecting Mark's Captain Americas anyways. Not because I knew who Mark Greenwald was. It was just a coincidence. Like I started Captain America at 298 is where I started collecting as a kid. So I just coincidentally already had that issue. I didn't even need to try to go find it, and I could show it, but my Captain America was like buried. But yeah, so there, Nighthawk, as you said, he's getting some of the villains together. These are some of his old villains. Here's a little bit of the what happened in Captain America kind of a thing.
Right.
So
in short, he visited Professor Imam, who is the Sorcerer Supreme of this world,
right,
and asked him to help fight the Squadron. Imam refused, but then he sent Nighthawk over to the Marvel Earth, and Nighthawk tried to recruit the Avengers to help him. They declined, but he wound up meeting up, encountering these 3 old villains of his, and they agreed to help him.
Yeah, so then he's got the big magic carpet here. Now, Master Menace, he's gonna bring in the bad guy, the bad Hyperion, and exactly what RR was just saying. I'll make a deal with you, blah blah blah. So this is the one that fought the Avengers.
Yeah.
And there's Thundra.
Yeah.
She looks pretty cool. So he really wants her back. He's in love with her. So he's like, okay, do me a solid, replace Hyperion, and then I will help you track her down, because they got teleported together, and he thought they kind of went at the same time, but he was a little bit late to the transport thing. So that small little time difference was enough to make him make her disappear to a different place, and he was alone. Okay, so where are we at here? All right, so Foxfire, this is Foxfire. She's like good now. Now, to remind everybody who's watching this, they've all been behaviorally modified. They've been B-modded, and they're all in the squadron now. Man, and this B-modding thing has created such a it's really effed up everything. Like if that machine was never used, this entire thing would have played out way differently, which is kind of Nighthawk's point, I suppose. But so okay, this is one of these guys, the one of the wardens. They're trying to convince him to use the thing. And here's where the story starts big. Now there's a meteor coming. Oh my God, it's a great Xenon. Flies up. He's going to just smash it, Superman style, smash this thing. But he got sucked in. What happened? So it's actually a ship, and he's got the other Hyperion in there. And then he's going to jump out and make it look like he destroyed the meteor, and the ship's going to go away. And these guys, you can't really tell. They're like, oh yeah, it's probably just his atomic vision or something. I don't know. It's like, okay. I love how they're waiting here, and because this Hyperion doesn't know where to go, he didn't know to come back. He's like, they're like, yeah, okay, he's not here. Where is he? Why is he leaving? Now this was brilliant. So I like this part because it's a superhero story. There's always there's a villain version or something, or you get swapped. It's one of the superhero tropes, so they have to have it in this story. And it's a great excuse for the amnesia, right? It was this big blast. I don't know what's going on. I'm not myself, right? Oh, that was genius. Okay, so Foxfire comes over. It's like, okay, we need help. This is cool. They're trying to, get him back up, operate on him. He's stirring. I gotta pretend I don't know what's going on. Now, is it right away, or is it? This is whoa, what's going on there? Look at Lamprey. He's like, oh yeah. So Hyperion. Okay, so wait, what are they discussing here again? I forgot about this. Okay, so they're just saying, well, he has amnesia. Yeah, okay. It's like Tom Thumb is still here for at least a little bit. Yeah. So they're trying to figure out what to do. She comes to see Hyperion and then tests to see if his strength is still, if he still has his strength, which of course he does. And he's starting to, I think is it here already where he's starting to like her?
He's starting to develop an attraction to Power Princess.
Yeah.
Now, this is always the thing where people would say, well, why doesn't Superman and Wonder Woman ever get together, right? Seems like they would get together if it was a real... Like if they were real people in the real world, right?
Well, some writers have explored that.
Yeah, so we're getting a little bit of that here, but the point of this Hyperion even doing any of this is because he wants to get back to Thundra. And I mean, it's like, I mean, well, we don't know what the space of time is, but like 5 seconds later, he's like, okay, screw her. I like this girl.
Well, what it is that he's got a really basic human need. And that's the genius of Grunwald's writing, is that there is a basic human need that drives each character. Like the Nighthawk is driven by his principle, but also guilt. The squadron members are driven by Hyperion, the real one's driven by his sense of guilt to a degree, but also his desire to make the world better. And this Hyperion is driven by the most basic human need for companionship. He needs someone else. And of course, we find out what he's willing to do about that.
So nothing yet, though. But he sees her. He takes her home, and he takes a peek inside, and he sees this old man here, and he's like, "What the hell? Like, she's with this guy?" And of course, he doesn't really know that she's immortal or near immortal, whatever, or ages very slowly. And this is her husband, who is now just aged out. So he comes back. He's like, "Oh, Power Princess thought some fresh air might jog my memory." Oh, okay, yeah, all right, sure. So what's this is the bad guy doctor, right? I forgot his name.
Dr. Decibel.
Decibel, yes, Decibel. I recommend you get as much rest as possible. Okay, fine. Her husband, that's sick. That's what he tells him. It's the husband. Okay, now there's a lot. The next morning, I mean, do we need to spell this out? So she comes over. She's like, "There's an emergency, and her husband's dead." Now this is brilliant. Okay, this is great art here with this face. You're like, "Oh shit!" You know exactly what. I mean, they're gonna spell it out for you, but you know what happened. The big bearded guy, Skeptic. That was Master Menace with his helmet off.
I've always wondered how he fits all that hair and beard under that helmet.
Must be it gets really sweaty in there.
Every time you see him with his helmet off, his mouth's wide open. He looks a bit unhinged, Master Menace.
Yeah.
Well, he is a bad guy. He looks like oh my god. He's got a little bit of he looks a little bit like Tom Thumb. He's got the same kind of like crazy hair, but it's like a little bit of Craven in there.
Yeah.
Like his face or whatever. All right, so we cut from there. We're cutting back to Arcana, who is pregnant, but if you guys remember, she's using her magic ability to hide how pregnant she really is, because she says last time she was pregnant, they had the kid gloves and they wouldn't let her do missions, and they were being very weird. So she didn't want them to see how pregnant she was.
This is almost the normies chat session. Hey, that the panels where there's Wizard's wife who says, "Gosh, wouldn't Power Princess and Hyperion make a great couple?"
Yes,
you know, but they're like the normies of this book, because they're very human, but they really speak for the normal people in this story, right?
Mm-hmm. And they have a family.
Yeah, they've all got kids.
So they're the two kind of family people of the heroes. Stan didn't tell me she's spending most of her time with Hyperion trying to help him get his memory back. So see, like the whole memory loss thing is actually making them get closer together, and she starts to see him as more vulnerable, and that actually makes her a bit more attracted to him, which is interesting, actually. I guess, you know,
to be fair on his part, I mean, if you had to hang out with Wonder Woman for extended periods of time, I'm sure it'd be very difficult to resist her charms.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, for sure. And like, and Hyperion, it's like he says this, and it's kind of a weird thing. It was like, you always think about if like Superman and Lois were going to have, you know, like actual like sexual, you know, like intercourse, like how would that even work? Like if he can't feel a bullet hit him, how would there be any sensation? Like how would it
You're going to
actually,
get demonetized in a minute, mate.
yeah, but no, how would it work, right? Like it's like,
Yeah, well,
right. So anyways, this is, I get left up to your imagination, I suppose, but they allude to that here because he's like, it's like they kind of, it's like the two of them would be good. So now he's thinking, who do I go with? This, Thundra woman is lost. Like maybe we can find her. Maybe Menace can find her. Maybe he can't find her. I don't know. Or do I go for Power Princess? So
bird in the hand.
Right. So yeah, like she's right there. Now, did Thundra like him? Like I don't know if she liked him back, and it's not said, right? Like it's not.
I don't know.
Okay, so we're not sure if she even really liked him anyways. All right, so Power Princess, though, he thinks, I've got a better shot with her. I'm already here. She's here. We're getting along. She's lost her husband. I can kind of get in there. So
bird
he's
in the
like,
hand.
yeah, bird in the hand. So F it. I'm going to go with her. But if I go with her, Menace can blow his cover, right? And say, well, you're not even the real Hyperion. So the only guy he has to really take out is Menace. The deal is off, sucker. Nails him, punches him. Just get a little bit of a battle.
This Hyperion uses such villain trope speech. You're going to have to be shut up permanent, like.
Right.
He's got those villain tropes in his speeches of thug villains.
Yeah, I got a better deal going with the Squadron than you could ever give me. But damn. Yeah, you're going to have to shut up permanent. Smashes him, Brock. This guy's like, what the hell's going on with this bullshit? He must be like, screw this guy. Well, Menace, you brought him here, buddy. I don't really have that much sympathy for you.
No. It's like backfire.
So he rips this thing apart. He's like, okay, got to get out of here. And then he teleports away. He destroys the machine. He's like, well, I guess that's good enough. He comes back, and then there's some smooching here. That's it.
1 week after the funeral. That's a bit soon, but
yes.
Well.
Well, she's immortal, or what? They gotta. All right, number 8. So, spoiler alert: the two Hyperions are gonna fight it out. I don't. That's gonna be. We knew that was gonna happen.
Stanley Stewart, alliterative names.
Oh, sorry, where were you? What were you reading? Where was that?
I just look at the first page there. That the wizard's name is Stanley Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
Him and Stanley and his alliterative names.
Stanley Stewart. Well, you got to have the Marvel kind of. Oh yeah, so he was going to be called Boomer. That's right.
Yeah. Well, I think Hyperion's cover ID is Mark Milton.
Mark Milton. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they abandoned all of their identities, right? Or yeah. Okay, so he's running around here. Now this is funny.
Yeah, there's some good bit of Flash comedy here.
Yeah, this is totally a Flash thing. So you got these two kind of cheesier villains running off with some the loot from the coastal bank, the first coastal bank. And they're shooting them with those non-lethal pacifier pistols or whatever that. So basically, at this point, all of the weapons are gone.
Yeah, they're like stun guns or something.
Yeah, they're like But if you remember, Tom Thumb developed those belts, which give you a little bit of an energy shield around you. So the bad guys are now wearing them. Which makes them, like bulletproof or whatever. And then Wizard comes, and he's like, well, I got you guys. And then, nope. Protection from Wizard as well. This is cool. Like falling back and then rolling.
It's a small thing. It may just be him making an offhand comment. But he says, hello, officer, I'd like to make a citizen's arrest. But technically, at this stage, Squadron Supreme are responsible for all security and law enforcement. So they still got supreme power, right? So you would think he could just arrest him himself, but I don't know. Classic, am I wrong there?
I mean, yeah, technically they're running everything. He probably, it's just, I think he's just, Grunwald probably just wrote it that way without.
Just for a joke, just for a chuckle.
Yeah, he's trying to be cute. Like, oh, I'm citizen's arrest. Here you go. It's like, yeah, okay. So he's gonna go and grab them, but he starts bouncing them around, and that's pretty funny. That's like a Flash thing. That's definitely a Flash way to kind of handle it. The wizard. They're like, but we still got the loot. He's like, yeah, well, this thing wears off, and then you need food too. So,
yeah, as he's depicted here in this miniseries, the wizard, he does have a very Barry Allen kind of feel to him.
Yeah. Oh, he's definitely more Barry than Wally.
good day, officer. Oh, we got the shape here with Tom, doing stuff. It's like, what's going on? Yeah, here I talk about it. It's like, here are these people. Shape hungry. So Shape is one of the guys. Well, I guess we're going to learn it in the next issue or two, where some of the villains who have been modded, actually are okay with it or are come out better. They're happier.
They like being good, and definitely he's one of them.
And there's like kids. I can't remember if we saw that last time, but there was like kids playing with him and stuff. So he's a bit more like he's like gentler and all that.
Yeah. He's very attached to Arcana's family.
Mm-hmm, yes, that's important. Yeah, that's very important for later.
Mm.
So it's like, I ran into two of my stupidest opponents, Bollocks and Rustler. Like, all right. Bollocks is it supposed to be Bollocks? They were pulling a bank job. It's like in broad daylight wearing force belts. It's like, yeah, okay, well, let's keep that part quiet. So here's Ape X in her little machine thingy. We've got Blue Eagle. We haven't seen him I guess we've seen him for a bit. It shows that he's a bit of a jerk.
Yeah, he regrets it later. But there's quite a moment here that gives him some guilt. I mean, it's funny they did this off screen to save pages, like off screen, because something significant happens off panel here that is going to affect the next issue, and but this is how Quagmire talks about, hey, you behavior modified me, right? I can't do anything, and Eagle punches him because he was a bit cheeky to a young lady earlier, not in a rude way, but Eagle sort of he's very conservative. He's got his own behavior expectations, and he's still angry about Lady Lark leaving after the behavior modification she received from Archer, right? So Eagle punches him in Quagmire in the face, and then we discover, and then flies off in a bit of a huff. Comes back a few minutes later, and we discover there's been a catastrophe. That tranquilizer gas in lethal dose has escaped from one of the storage tanks. Quagmire saved 30 people, but was exposed to a tremendous dose and is in a coma.
Yeah, so that's gonna and his powers are gonna go crazy in a bit.
Next issue.
So now we see how much she really is pregnant. She removed the spell.
And Dr. Decibel cannot tell the other squadron members because the behavior modification doesn't allow him to. Arcana made me promise not to tell the others how far along she is, but because of the behavior modification, I must obey her against my better judgment. Because he's a doctor.
This idea that they can't betray the squadron is what really messes up everything, because
it really comes back to bite them in a variety of ways.
I mean, and this is a very small way okay, so he can't tell them, is it that big? But then it's like, oh, this person's a villain. Oh, this person's not modded anymore. Oh, right? And it's like, oh shit. And then nobody can say anything. And Apex has like a Kirk machine. Kirk always makes these, machines, and he outsmarts them like Landrew or something. And then they all get messed up. It's like she has like one of those moments.
Yeah, she has a meltdown, poor thing.
All right, so back to the boys over here. They're like, all right, so Hyperion kind of takes off on his own. Lamprey, he's one of the guys that is just a pure bad guy. Like, he's B modded, but look, it's a comic book. They're gonna turn back to being bad. I mean, it's not even a spoiler, really. Like, you're just waiting for it to happen. And you just know this guy's a bastard. Like, he'll go right back to his villainous ways or whatever.
There's a couple of characters. Mink is another one who is actually quite an evil character. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Lamprey is one of the few characters, even in the villains, who's actually quite sadistic. Like, he enjoys hurting other people. He enjoys fighting. He enjoys, cruelty and sucking the life out of people. But yeah, there's a B-mod thing. Lamprey detects that Hyperion's energy feels different.
Yes.
But since he's been B-modded, he can't tell anyone.
So because Lamprey is like sort of an energy vampire, he's like kind of like Parasite or whatever, he can tell that, hey, this is not the real Hyperion, or at least it's not the same Hyperion that I fought before. He can't say anything because he's the squadron leader, so you cannot. It's like RoboCop. Can't shoot Dick Jones until he gets fired in RoboCop.
Directive 4.
Directive 4. I cannot. My prime directive does not allow me to act against a member of this company. Dick, you're fired. So okay, some smooching here with these two,
and then the real Hyperion.
And then there's Foxfire. Like, hey, what the heck? I was like, go. Now, yeah. So this is the real Hyperion in his wherever he is, some alternate dimension or universe. He can see all this. And this is in Superboy, as you guys know from Legion. It's like he can travel back and forth, no problem. So Hyperion's trying to do it.
I suppose this is the Phantom Zone.
It's kind of like that. It's this interdimensional void, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Well, Grunwald, though, being such a DC fan, apparently Grunwald could beat everyone for trivia. Apparently he had an eidetic memory, and he knew trivia about DC and Marvel that no one could beat him at. But being such a big DC fan, and being a big fan of the JLA and Superman, I think this is sort of Grunwald's homage to the Phantom Zone.
It could be. His Quasar series was an obvious Green Lantern. Basically, it was Marvel Green Lantern when you get right down to it.
How is that? Should I check out Quasar? Because I always wanted to read Quasar. I just never got into it.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's a solid book.
Is that a volume 1 or?
Yeah, it was probably volume 1. It's the first series Quasar had.
Okay, because I think I have issue 1 of that from back in the day, but I just never read it. All right, so Hyperion has to make it out. Like, he's got to get out of the Phantom Zone or whatever we're gonna call it. Get back to got to break through. Right, got to get in there. And then he meets up with Menace, Master Menace. You piece of trash! What are you doing here? I knew it was you. No, and it's like, Hyperion. Oh, good to see you here. I don't know. It's just a coincidence. I don't know why I'm here. So they figure out, it's like, he's like, I'm going to beat you up. He's like, yeah, okay, here's what happened. So they explain it. Clever way of explaining what happened in the last issue.
Exposition.
Yeah. Tell me now, Menace. Tell me all the exposition that the audience needs. It's like, okay, here you go. Just in case someone didn't get the last issue.
Here's a classic superhero trope. The hero and his arch enemy having to team up. This is like a Superman Lex Luthor moment, isn't it?
For sure. And that's why I like having the evil Hyperion, right? Like it's kind of neat. So okay, they make a deal. Yeah, we're gonna work together to get out of here. So he's gonna power him up with his beams here.
I'm just gonna interject this idea. So I met Tom Taylor in 2014. He was down here for the New Zealand version of Comic Con, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was writing Earth 2 at the time.
Okay.
Now in Earth 2 at that time, there was an evil version of Superman that worked for Darkseid. Yeah.
Okay.
And he was crushing everyone because he was almost Silver Age Superman. He just smoked all the heroes of Earth 2, right? He's killing armies of just destroying everything. And you tore Steppenwolf in half. Anyway, so I says to Tom, how are you going to end that story? And he says to me, oh, don't worry. It'll make sense. Because I'm like, this Superman's so far gone. He even kills Pa Kent because he speaks out against Darkseid, right? So how it resolves itself is it's not Superman, it's Bizarro. He's been modified. Darkseid has created a Bizarro clone of Superman. And there's some cracks around the eyes. And I thought, wow, Tom Taylor's brilliant. That's really clever. Didn't see it coming. Great storytelling. We get to the end of this issue, and now I know where Tom Taylor lifted it from. Because you look at the last page of this issue, spoiler, and you'll see right away it's Bizarro. And that's where Tom Taylor lifted it from.
Oh my gosh.
I'm almost certain of that. I mean, I'm not calling Tom out because he was a very nice man, and maybe it's coincidence, but I've seen it's the same thing. Because there's a new Superman who's African American. Long story. In Earth 2, and they fight, and the evil, Val Zod, the evil Superman crumbles. Right, he crumbles like Bizarro, and that's who it was. It was Bizarro all along. Sorry. Anyway, Jay, you keep going, mother.
No, that was good. Yeah. So, they're gonna work together and get out, and then boom, so now the real Hyperion comes out.
Awesome action sequence coming.
Oh yeah.
This is an epic fight.
And now they're just gonna kick the crap out of each other. The winner gets Power Princess and the title of the real Hyperion.
Well, do you remember how Hyperion threatened to kill Scarlet Centurion in issue 2? This is a fight to the death.
Oh yeah.
Even real Hyperion, the good Hyperion here, isn't fighting to just to win and knock the guy out. He's actually fighting to the death.
He's pretty much done at this point. Like he's like, I this Utopia program is the most important thing. That was that whole thing where he told Scarlet Centurion, you mess with me, I'm going to kill you. Like I'm not wearing the kid gloves anymore. Like you're going down. So big fight here. She comes up. They're like, look at her face. It's like, oh no. It's like, have I been, frolicking with the bad guy or whatever? And I think does Lamprey say, yeah. So here I think
Lamprey
he admits
the beans.
Yeah, because you see now he's able to, because there's another guy there, and now it's in doubt, so he's allowed to say that the other guy's energy signature was different. And now they're just kicking the crap at each other.
That's a beautiful bit of writing there. There's a bit of prose there. About 40 miles away, titans clash. Each blow of diamond-hard skin against diamond-hard skin produces a deafening thunderclap and sparks that ignite the twilight sky. What a great imagery.
They don't write them awesome. Like that anymore.
No.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Moore's issue 15 of Miracle Man is written like that.
I'll definitely get those.
Yeah, don't read them before you go to bed. That's all I'll say.
Oh no, nothing phases me, buddy. I remember I've watched the Terrifier movies. I watched like all the Ilsa movies. It's like
they're disturbing those for superhero comic.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the art. Oh, look at the speed lines. Yeah, just look at the action here. I mean, modern comics suck.
Yeah, like
and they destroy Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, he goes right into it. Boom.
Takes out JFK and Benjamin Franklin.
I'll pick up a nose. Like he's got the nose there. So whose nose was that? And he picked up someone's nose.
Franklin's, I think.
It's like, here you go. To eat this. Whoosh. My only chance. My atomic vision. Now this is cool. Oh, they're finding it. Now, like, look at this. They're just using their vision to their fullest. Someone's gonna have to give up. And they're just going and going and going.
And will you look at the appearance, though, of the alternate Hyperion through these panels in the next 2 pages and tell me it's not Bizarro?
All right, let's take a look here. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, he starts to so he got it. He's like, my eyes, they've burst. That's crazy. His eyes have burst. And then batam, bam, oof. He like literally just like turns him into like into a mess. Yeah, that does look a little bit like a Bizarro, like that middle panel.
And that's how that's sort of he crumbles rather than melts. But that's how that issue of Earth 2 is resolved. Hey, if Tom Taylor borrowed it, well, fair enough, because the best ideas are borrowed. But gosh, that's very similar.
Yeah, and you know what? You feel bad for Power Princess because she did love him and she didn't know, so this is kind of sucks for her.
I'd have done anything to keep your love. Please forgive me. I did kill Howard.
Yeah, he admits to killing her husband.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, get the tissues next.
Number 9.
Get the tissues.
All right, here we go. Tom Thumb. At last, the cure. Yep. So this is big. I was pretty shocked about this development here, where Decibel figures out that like he's blinded now. He used up so much of his atomic vision that it messed his eyes up, so he's basically blind. Recap here for those who didn't read it. So he's blind. I mean, all of his other senses, he still has super senses, right? Like,
yeah, but I mean, without his eyesight, and I guess he's used to relying on his eyesight primarily, right? As we all do. Yeah. So that's a significant weakness that Hyperion has now, which means that he's not able to be as prominent as he was in. I think Power Princess has assumed leadership at the moment. Yeah.
She's the leader now. Yes, she was the leader when he had when the fake Hyperion had amnesia.
I love that panel of the them fighting the Institute of Evil, and he's got the Scarlet Centurion and the Grand Master in the background there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's got the Skrull is with them, so this is one of their very early adventures, I guess. I'd love to see a series that's about the early days of the Squadron. And I wish they would do something like that.
Yeah, and so doing hot takes. I was talking. RR and I were talking behind the scenes before we started, and I was going through the next volumes. Like if this is volume 1, go to volume 2. We went up to, what did we go up to? Volume 6 or something. I can't remember what we went up to. But none of them looked anything near cool as like yeah, you'd think, okay, do something beforehand then and show them at being these heroes or whatnot, like show this kind of stuff. You'd still have, you'd have other guys that had died. You'd still have them there, but they just didn't do that. They just keep doing more hot takes. I hate that. I hate like current writing is all hot takes. Oh, like what if Luke was going to kill Ben Solo, or what if Han is a deadbeat dad now, or what if it's like what if the Squadron are all evil villains now, and it's just like everything's like a hot take, like it's not a story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I did mention to Jay Classic Comics, and you're probably aware of them, that after Grunwald passed away in '96, in '98. there are a couple of squadrons. There's 989 Squadron Supreme Death of the Universe that Grunwald does as an epilogue to this book. So I read that last week. And then in 98, he passed away in 96. Kurt Busiek does one of them. I don't remember the other guy's name, but there are two Squadron Supreme books. One, they team up with the Avengers, and one, they come back to this world and find out sort of what the legacy of the Utopia program has been. So there is a follow-on from this, and it's dedicated to Grunwald.
You mean the New World Order one-shot?
Yeah, New World Order, that's the one. And they bring back the Skrull, and Amphibian rejoins the team.
Yeah.
And Hyperion's sight does get restored, but not. Oh, big spoiler, sorry. But after this series, right?
Oh, okay.
Eventually he regains his sight, but well after the end of this series. Sorry, I will stop the spoilers now.
No, yeah, it's fine.
I was getting too excited. I know it's a 4-year-old comic, but still, I was getting too carried away.
So now Spectrum and Foxfire have a little bit of a thing going. That's established. Kind of like each other, winking at him and all that kind of stuff. Back at the hospital, so this is Quagmire, who saved 30 people, took a lot of damage. He's in a coma, but his powers are still on. So he's got a really weird thing. It's like his mind unlocks some sort of like interdimensional like tar or goop, or I don't know what it is. It's just like it's a weird. This is like the weirdest power. Like it'll just keep coming. Like he was controlling it with his conscious mind, I guess. And is it here where it's? Well, not yet, or it's coming up. It'll be coming up. I love how Wizard allowed Lamprey to siphon off a little bit of the speed energy so that he could play tennis against them, and they both have speed. That's kind of fun.
Well, we get the normie speech here again. Like we get Grunwald showing us the normal people, and here we've got, as you were saying, really important shapes attachment to Arcana's kids. I think one of those kids might be Wizards. I think the boy is Wizards, or maybe not. But oh no, the boys. It's hard to tell.
Look at him.
Yeah,
he's like playing with the kids. He's all stretched.
He's very attached to Arcana and Wizards families. And then go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just skeptic of saying Speedster's doing sports. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
You should see the issue of Strange Sports Stories where a bunch of DC villains and heroes play baseball together.
That's neat.
Oh, I have to look for that one.
All right, so Tom Thumb and Apex have gotten very close. He's very sick. We found out that he has cancer. The machine, I forgot the computer's name.
Ida.
I think she tells Apex here, right?
Yeah. Yes. Next page over. But what's important though, just go back to that a second, is what they're building. So they remember that the Hyperion made those statements. We're going to conquer crime. We're going to conquer poverty. We're going to conquer disease, and we're going to conquer death. Because what he's building is like a stasis pod, the hibernaculum. That if you die of a disease that's incurable, you can basically go into stasis and be revived when a cure is invented. That's what they're trying to build right now, him and Apex. And that becomes important in a couple of issues' time.
Yeah, that is important. So it's like they can just keep you like in stasis like indefinitely. All right, we're cutting back finally to Nighthawk, who's like, basically like I mean, I don't know, he's like my favorite character in this, I guess, if we're picking a character. He's pretty awesome. He's getting together all the guys. There's some great stuff coming up with him in the next. I don't know if it's this one or the next one. No, it's the next one. All right, so it's like you can see he's got his guys together. He's got his villain group together.
Issue 11. Yeah, I think it's issue 11 where Nighthawk really has a huge, like it's really big. Issue 11. for Nighthawk.
Yeah.
His crisis of conscience.
Yeah, that and it's something. Well, yeah. Well, we'll discuss it when we get. I guess we'll get to. Okay, so Apex knows. I know that you have it, and then she basically says, "Why don't you?" Okay. So now he tells her what happened. This is one stream ago, last week's stream, where he went into the far future where people were cured of all these diseases. He had the opportunity to get the cure, but he had to weaken Hyperion in order to get it. And he decided to not do that. And Apex is basically saying, well, why don't you just steal the damn cure? Like, who cares? Go back and steal. Like, this guy's, and he's like, well, I can't do that. I can't steal. It's like, yeah, but it's basically like you're going to help all these people. It's like, you need to live. But he can't do it alone. And none of the squadron's going to go. And then he can't ask the former bad guys to go because they've been modded to not do bad things. So in order to get them to go, he has to lie. So he has to lie and steal, right? So it's like he keeps, he's like, well, I don't want to lie to people. I don't want to steal, but I've got to do both now. Basically, is the
moral choices.
I
tell you, J-Man, because you put me onto Enterprise, and I just finished season 3, and there's so much. Jonathan Archer, who starts the show, is a very moral character.
Yes. Yeah.
But some of the choices he's forced to make are a lot like this. That that when you have to do, when there's no other possibility, do you let go of your morals?
Yeah, I'm going to finish season 3 tomorrow. I've got 2 episodes left of season. I've seen it before though, but it's my third time through.
It's fantastic. It's amazing season 3. Yeah. So
what did you say, classic?
Of season 3 of Enterprise.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you're going to. Yeah, I don't like it as much as season 2. I think it's a cool show, but it's lost the exploration stuff. But it's still not too bad.
Well, it's less episodic. It's not. It's more about the single storyline rather than. It's kind of changed from TNG to DS9 in season 3.
Yeah, and I love Deep Space Nine, but Enterprise. I love Deep Space Nine because if it's a space station near the wormhole, I feel like it's a bit different. But the name Enterprise, I want it to be more like exploration, like TNG. So my season 3 reviews, it's like there's a lot of them are getting 6s and 7s out of 10 and stuff. And for me, just because I don't like the war, I want the war to just to be over. But it's still a lot better. Like I remember thinking season 3 sucked when I first watched it. I hated it. And then I still bought it on Blu-ray, of course. And then I've warmed up to it more, and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good. So we're almost done. I'm way more favorable to it now. I'm okay with it. I like it. It's fine. Maybe I've seen so many other Star Treks, but just season 1 and 2 are so perfect for me. It's exactly what I wanted from Star Trek, and it was a bit of a departure because I still love Voyager and Deep Space Nine. I love all those shows, but I wanted to go back to just exploring, learning about a new civilization and and then it got into just the war. I thought, but anyway, did you like Enterprise Classic or?
I liked it. Okay. I didn't love it. I thought that as far as the third season, I just felt like I don't know. It's like the war plot just went on a little too long, honestly. I think it would have worked better if it had been maybe like the first half of the season instead of the whole season, maybe, or something.
I actually said the same thing to my wife. I was like, maybe it should have been like maybe 5 or 6 parter, and then that's it, right? Like,
yeah.
But they peppered in. So you just finished season 3, right? RR? You said you just finished it.
I finished season 3 yesterday.
Okay.
So watch season 4 episode 1 and 2 today.
Okay.
Season 4 is really good. That's my favorite season.
I love season 3. I have to say, some of those episodes are real 10s for me.
They definitely are. I think a lot of people love season 3. I remember even my buddies were like, oh yeah, I remember season 3 was awesome. It's just that it was too, like, Deep Space Nine kind of gradually became that. And versus this was just like all of a sudden season 3 episode 1, it's like, all right, war, Zindi. I'm like, okay, well, what the hell? Like, this, like, because then it's like Mayweather and Hoshi. It's like, okay, guys, talk to you later. I'll see you in season 4 again, because you're not going to do Jack now, because it's basically Reed, Archer, T'Pol, and Trip, who are the only characters that have any use. Like,
Hoshi gets that one episode with the telepathic guy who looks
That was
really
awesome.
creepy.
That was my favorite episode. And when you get to my reviews, I'm like, this is my favorite episode of season 3. I love Hoshi. She's awesome. And but that was a great episode. So there's still really good ones. Like you'll see my reviews as I post them. Like there's still ones where like, you get an 8 or 9 or a 10 in between because it's still the backdrop of the war, but it has.
I just like how it changed. I mean, sorry, this is a distraction from the Squadron Supreme, but I just like how it changed Archer, and that Archer recognized the changes in himself.
Yes,
and they didn't just gloss it over and be, oh well, I did these terrible things. Oh well, there were consequences. There was character growth and development. And in season 4, he really deeply, he knows he's not the man he used to be. We'll have to do a Enterprise stream someday. Sorry, because we're getting to a really interesting bit of the story here in Squadron Supreme as well.
Yeah,
so,
we'll get back to
So Tom and Lamprey are in the future now.
Yes, let's go to the future and steal the cure. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, Lamprey was the right character to bring, though.
Yep,
he's definitely the right guy to bring.
Oh yeah, for sure. So they gotta find the cure. They get attacked here. He just destroys it. So he told Lamprey that they stole something and they're going to retrieve it. That's the lie he told him in order to get him to go do it.
Right.
Okay. Back to over here. I'm blind. Sorry, that's.
I deserve to be blinded for what I did to that human duplicate.
Yeah, he pulverized the crap out of him.
He beat him to death.
Yeah. Well, you took my squadron, you took my place. Identity theft.
Explode. Well, I mean, it's kind of semantics, but the thing is that other Hyperion, he was an artificial being that was created by the Grand Master. And his memories and everything were all false. They were all implanted.
Still sentient, though.
Yeah, I mean, so you wonder if he was really, in the most technical sense, was he really even really alive? I'm not sure.
Well, he's Bizarro. That's what I'm saying. He's Bizarro because Bizarro he has Superman's memories. He's an imperfect, a flawed clone, a reproduction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's my analogy.
Well, now he's paste, so
yeah, he's goo now.
Put him on some peanut butter. I'll put him on some toast and have it with some peanut butter. So she says, I love that guy because I thought it was you. So why don't we get together? It's like, all right, well, sounds good. All right, Back to the Future. Back to the Future. We're here. They knock this guy. Where's the damn cure? Where are the cures? It's like, oh, they're over there. All right. They come in. Here they all are. It's all these vials. This is back with Night. I was going to say Hawkeye. Nighthawks, guys. Oh yes, we have this guy. What's this guy's name again? Redstone.
So Juggernaut.
Yeah, he's great. Redstone and Moon. Was it Moon Glow or something?
Moon Glow. Yeah, you get the Moon Glow.
All right. Give us the cure. Here it is. Now, when they get here, all of a sudden the guards come and everything just gets like, well, he's draining the energy, which is cool, and everything's destroyed. So now Tom, go ahead.
No, I was going to say what they're doing here is they're kind of like using bullets against Magneto. They brought energy weapons against the guy who is an energy vampire. Yeah,
so it just powers him up. Now he has another moral dilemma. It's like, all this is destroyed, they can probably just make more, but should I take this? Like, what if someone needs it? Do I have the right to take this? And but they're like, yep, take it. And then Scarlet Centurion's kind of like not too concerned about it. It's like, yeah, okay.
Get the tissues. Get my
here you go. Yeah, okay. So before I reveal that last thing, so basically, this is actually pretty smart because he brings it back, and the thing is that the people in the future are actually different. They have different immunities. they have different systems. Like it's a whole different, like chemical makeup of people, right? Like, so the cure is not really gonna, you can't take a cure from the future back and say, well, it's gonna work, because it's made for people of that time, not for this time, so it doesn't work.
Yep.
That was smart. Doesn't work. And I mean, look at this. He walks off. I'm going back to the 40th century to return what I've stolen. Then 1 week later, while working in his laboratory on another project to better the human condition, Thomas Thompson, also known as Tom Thumb, passed away. And that's it. That's crazy. It's just like one black screen. Hey, Phantom Outsider, you joined just as Tom Thumb departed.
Hey, Fandy.
That's crazy. It's just like one black. I was pretty stunned. I knew he was going to die. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. It's just like, boom, he's dead.
Yeah, sometimes an off-panel or off-screen death doesn't really work, but this time it really does. That was, I thought, a really quite effective way of doing that.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. Yeah, F is right. Yeah, yeah. That was that Time Machine. I didn't much care for the Time Machine remake with Guy Pearce. It was like okay, but one thing I thought was neat was in the movie they gave him a reason. So it was like in the original Time Machine, he just he's bored with his time and he wants to travel to the future. But in this one, in the remake of the movie, they said like his wife died, and then he creates the time machine to try to figure out how to save her, and he keeps going back to do different things to save her. But then he figures that nothing's working because she keeps dying anyways. And then he goes to the future to where there's more knowledge about time travel. And the guy, I think the Morlock, I think it's Jeremy Irons. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's Jeremy Irons. Jeremy Irons as the Morlock leader.
Yeah. And he's like, he goes, you only built the time machine because she died. So you can't use it to save her because it wouldn't exist without her dying or something like that. Right. And you're just like, oh yeah, that's awesome. I thought that was pretty good.
Paradox.
Yeah, it's you create a paradox. But the thing is, I mean, I like the old movie better, but the new movie, at least that was kind of neat. I thought that was pretty neat.
Since you brought the movie up, I'll mention when I went to college originally, I took some theater, and one of the guys I was in theater with is in that movie.
Oh, cool. Well, he probably loves it.
Probably.
I still own it, of course, because I'm just like, I still thought it was kind of neat. Like it looked cool and everything, but like, I love the old one, the old movie. Well, what did they did? So they are going to throw them in hibernation. So they've got those machines that they can try to cure them later. Cure when it was created. Yeah, that may have been something to try.
Bit of irony there. The last invention he comes up with is that one.
Yes,
that was his final gift to the world. 41 he was. Poor wee man.
Yeah.
41.
All right. Caught in quagmire. Yeah, so this quagmire. Okay, so now here they're putting him in the hibernation thing. And hopefully they can save him later on. Big Squadron news. So here's the big news report on Tom Thumb here, giving his back. I love how you're giving his backstory after he's dead. That's kind of neat. All right, and then they're talking about the progress, creating the machine, the B mod thing, the belts, those pistols.
Pretty good stats, though.
Yep. So every issue, we should point this out. Every issue is the month. So I don't know what was this one? 10?
10. Issue 10, yeah. 10th.
Yeah. So this is the 10th month is how it's being done. Okay, so where are we at here? Hunger 100. Okay, that's good. Economy 90. Crime 85. So war's done. Environment you can't tell, but it's probably high, right? Disease 50. Okay, so that would be the toughest one. But to help with the disease, they introduced those. I can't pronounce this thing.
Hibernaculum.
Hibernaculum. So yeah, you get your ass in there, and you're gonna be, and we'll freeze you till you're good. It'd be like Demolition Man or whatever, or the Ark in Space if you're a Doctor Who fan.
Yeah, or like the the stasis pods in Aliens or something like that.
Right. Stasis pods. Yes. And that Ripley slept for like whatever 100 years or something or whatever it was, or 50 years. Okay. Dialogue. We get back. Now we've got a meeting here with Nighthawk's people. Let's take a look at who we got here.
Something she's saying is about she's actually talking about the jobs and the economy, how that'll get a boost from the Hibernacula being built, because you're going to have techs for it. People are going to have watches that monitor their vital signs. Hibernetics will come and retrieve you when you die. So there's actually and you see some construction of that, I think, in the next issue, or maybe this issue. But yeah, that's part of their tackling of jobs and the economy, is these new initiatives are taking care of that. But yeah, you've got the chairman of the board there, and the new Institute of Evil.
Yeah.
Oh, what are they called? The Redeemers.
The Redeemers.
The Redeemers. That's right.
You read issue 2. Oh, nice. Oh, the Sand Superman. Yeah, he's got a name. If you look it up, it's a Q name. I can't remember its name now.
The Quirm.
That's great. Yeah, say it again.
Quirm, I think is.
Quirm. Yeah. It's pretty cool. I like that. I started reading from that because that was where it says all new adventures or something. It was like 233, 34, 35, whatever. Cool. All right. So now you've got Nighthawk's people. Now we can take a look at who we got here. So this is Golden Archer, who is hiding from Lady Lark, and he wants to unmodify her if there's a way. You've got guys now. We've seen these guys before. This guy looks like Todoroki from My Hero Academia, where it's like he's like a half fire guy and a half ice guy.
Thermite, I think his name is.
Thermite.
Yeah.
I don't remember all their names. What was this girl's name? She's important. Moonglow. Oh, right, Moonglow. Sorry, yes, Moonglow.
Yeah. So the woman in the tan, green, and white striped costumes, Inertia. Mm-hmm. She's actually probably the most powerful one there.
Yeah.
Haywire is the kid with the scribbles all over him.
Yeah, he actually makes wires. It's kind of weird.
Pinball, Revenant, Mink, and then Redstone.
Yeah.
Sort of rounds out the team.
And I have to say, as much as I love the series, I think that there really should have been a scene that showed Nighthawk recruiting Archer. We never see that. It's just he's suddenly just there, and I felt like that was kind of that was lacking. That was a scene we should have gotten.
I agree with you.
If you were going to remove, I asked you about earlier, if you were going to remove the two Hyperions issue, right? If you were going to remove that part of the story, you could have used that space in those issues for the recruitment of the characters we don't see, like Thermite, like Haywire, like Moonglow, Inertia, the Archer, most importantly. And you see Redstone in shadow, but yeah, seeing him actually taking the time to recruit them, I think would have really elevated the book a little bit more. Totally agree with you there, Classic.
Or just add more pages. I can't lose the Hyperion battle because it's too epic. So I would just say
it is epic.
Just add a few more pages. Like that's it. But anyways, okay, we got it. He's with them. So there's glasses now that are going to help Hyperion see. It'll be like, it's basically going to give him like a Daredevil radar.
So he has to wear these goggles to see now.
Oh, yeah. You read Amazing Fantasy 15. Is that an important issue? You plan on starting to read Brave and the Bold. Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, Brave and the Bold, man. That's Clobby and I's. That was our book when we were doing all of our Bob Haney stuff. I missed that, man. I'm not gonna go back to it, but I missed
Amazing
it.
Fantasy 15 was the first Spider-Man.
I know. I was being silly.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yep.
I like they give some time to the development of Foxfire and Doctor Spectrum's relationship, because it is really important at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I always got the sense that she was one of the characters, like Shape, who actually enjoyed being good, that she actually preferred her life as a hero rather than a villain.
Maybe, but again, I mean, it's how much of that is really voluntary. I mean, there's this whole thing. Their whole relationship is just fraught with like moral issues because, okay, he starts getting involved with her. All right, well, these villains, they've been programmed to obey the squadron and do what they want. So does she really even have a choice?
Well, I can answer that one conclusively. We find out she absolutely does and did, that she loved him all along. I won't say how, but when we get there, we find out she absolutely did.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I still, I don't
Now,
know.
if she
It's very sketchy. This whole,
did, at this
I,
stage
I,
it is. But
I think Spectrum's kind of. I just think it's totally inappropriate what he's doing.
It's weird. Well, we'll get to what I understand. I understand what you guys are saying. It's like she'll obviously her actions are gonna prove it. But again, does the unmodifier thing work perfectly, or like the fact that she was B modded to start with, does that taint it forever? Right? Because now we've unmodified you. Oh, but I still love the guy. It's like, yeah, but
there's a big spoiler coming.
yeah. What I mean, it's fine. I don't think anyone. I don't. Well, some people might be, and if you're watching us, you still got to read it because we're not really going through it enough. You have to really kind of read this yourself. And I don't want to. This is why I didn't want to do, like, we could have easily done 12 streams and just gone through the whole thing, but I don't really want to do that. I want people to also take away and go read it themselves. Like, you can read it right off the site that we're looking at, right? It's not Anyway, all right. So where are we at here? Okay, so Foxfire, yes. Okay, so he's making, this is like Green Lantern making his little force structures and stuff, cleaning everything up.
And then some girl talk.
Girl talk.
Some important girl talk here.
I think it's worth noting that Grunwald writes female characters pretty well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well said.
Yeah.
Because you can imagine two ladies at work having that conversation.
And what were they talking about again?
Well, she talks about Arcana drops in the hint that Hyperion has sort of come around to realize that she was the that Power Princess was always the ideal woman for Hyperion.
Yes, yeah, that's
and she's like, why did I have to practically force myself upon him? Some men are like that.
Right. Yeah. He's just, So, okay, modifications to the glasses. Now you can see. Now, this never goes anywhere, at least not in this series. She's making like a body for
a robot Tom.
It's a robot Tom Thumb. Okay, here's this Quagmire weirdness. So he controls this goop or tar or whatever, this interdimensional like goop, and it's just engulfing everything here. You can see it's coming out from his hospital bed. He doesn't have control over it because he's in a coma, and it's just like spreading and spreading. Meantime, we go cut back to these guys, to Lamprey and Thingy. So, what are they building here again? I forgot what they're building here.
This is the hibernaculums, I think, or it's a rehab center.
Right.
Hang on.
Right.
Let's have a look. So this is the rehabilitation chamber. So this is so Lamprey and Blue Eagle are going to a rehab center for B-mod for prisoners, right? 100 convicts a day.
Yeah.
And then they talk about the job creation program at the bottom there.
Yeah.
We see Shape's really good with kids.
Yeah, they like him. They're like pulling his cheeks and stuff. All right, here comes some new recruits.
I just realized something. That's kind of a strange inversion because, of course, in the Marvel universe, Mr. Fantastic is probably the smartest human being,
Right.
yet probably the simplest character in this story has the same powers.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't
he's
know if
just
that
like
was
a fun guy or whatever.
yeah, I don't know if that was intentional or not.
Yeah, it probably was. So here comes two new recruits. How's it going? We can do a lot of cool shit. Like, look, I can lift a car up. Whoa. It's like I can fly and all this, but she can't. She all it is illusion creation.
Yeah.
And so it's the illusion of flying, but it's not. So, but she doesn't want them to know her real power because it's going to be used for villainy. Some powers are kind of like invisibility illusions, even though good guys use them sometimes, but like they always seem like more villainy powers, like
Death touch. There's an episode of Animal Man by Grant Morrison where there's a guy whose superpower is death touch. So what does he do? He becomes a supervillain. Tough to be a superhero when your power is death touch.
Yeah. I like Grant's I have a few trade paperbacks of that Animal Man. That was a random purchase. This guy at this comics shop was like, he goes, "Have you ever read Animal Man?" I was like, "No." He's like, "You should just read it." I was like, "Okay." And I literally, that's how stupid it was. I just bought the first collection, like, volume 1 or whatever. And I was like, "Oh man, this is awesome." He's like, "I told you." It was like so random. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So the hospital is just being, is it here yet? Where it's, oh no, not yet. Okay, hold on. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
No, we're going to our villains.
So these two have been sent to infiltrate the squadron. They've been sent by Nighthawk to get recruited and then become squadroneers, whatever, I don't know, whatever you call it. So they still need help. So they're willing to accept new recruits. We cut back to Nighthawk, and is he called? He's called Black Archer now. No, is he called something else?
Black Archer.
Yeah, I think Black Archer. Yeah.
Oh, Black Archer. Yeah. Okay. Still has some gold in there though. So he feels bad about what he did to Lady Lark. He's hoping to undo it. It's like, all right, well, you do what you can. So Menace needs, the big thing is that they need the plans for the machine, for the B modding. Yeah. And now Tom Thumb said that it was impossible to undo the B mod, but Menace thinks that he's smarter and he's like, maybe I could figure it out. So get me the plans. They're discussing the memberships of
Blue
these
Eagle
guys.
makes a critical error here.
Yeah. So let's see what he says. This is
it's because of his guilt about Quagmire.
Right. So there's a way we can award them full membership right off the bat, which not only spare us the time wasted in investigating their past, right? Like, come on, buddy.
Yeah, they're they're basically saying, we don't know these guys, should we let them join? And he's just like, let's just beam on them, screw it. And it's just like, wow, man, really?
Yeah, it's like just to make it quicker.
There's a bit of irony there, considering what happens next. But what happens in the next issue?
Right.
And it's interesting because Lamprey says, "You're right, Eagle. They better beam on them. They'll be sorry if they don't." And it's
true.
That's irony as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's weird because it's like that. I mean, what hashtag Blue Eagle was right or whatever?
Yeah. Hashtag Blue Eagle was right.
I mean, they're all wrong for doing it in general, but if you're already doing it, then this is the why doesn't Batman kill? Like, if Batman's willing to kill, well, then just kill Joker immediately. Like he's like number one. He's the number one on the hit list. That was always my problem with those later movies, like with Zack and stuff, where Batman's killing people. It's like, well, if you kill people, then just kill Joker immediately. Like, why is Joker even walking around? Like, but anyways. So if you're already willing to B-mod the crap out of everybody, then why not just B-mod these two? And they're like, well, they're still they're innocent and all that. It's like, all right. Okay, we need help at the hospital. Look at this. Oh my god, this entire thing's been engulfed. I love this series, like on top of him here. This was weird to me. I was thinking it's important. It's important. Everything that happens in this entire miniseries is important in some way because it's interconnected with other plot threads. So even if it feels like, the nuke thing, it doesn't matter that much, maybe not, but it's all to help Spectrum's character where he doesn't want to kill. And then, so everything's interconnected, but this, if you're going to lose something, I like, to me, this one is just like, okay, they're just fighting this goop now for a while. And again, it is important because everything is important, but if you wanted to see more with Nighthawk, I would think maybe removing some of this might not be, I don't know. All right, so they've got to save people from this goop, and it's like, oh, I've got to. What's he saying here? A Spectrum. The pressure against his dam.
There is for Hyperion coming up though, a few panels of moral reflection that possibly influence his decision at the end of the story, where he just, because it's in the end it's Hyperion that has to make the key decision here because he's the only one capable of penetrating the goo, and he goes through a real moral, it's sort of a bit of soul searching before he does what he has to do.
Right. Yep. So that's important.
I was following orders as a cop-out. I am morally responsible for everything I do. Can I go through with this? Must we always sacrifice the good of the individual for the good of the many? And this is, of course, before.
Yeah, so he's going in, and then he has to pull the plug because there's no other way to stop this. Like, it's just going to keep going and going and going. So he's the only one that can go through the goop. Like, you can see the goop is like literally like to the ceiling now. It's like it's just going to keep growing. And there's nobody around to understand how this power works. Like, is this just going to go? Will this just engulf the earth? Like, so he pulls the plug, and the second he does it, everything's good. But they did lose Decibel. He was like drowned in that goop or whatever. So there you go. All right.
Oh, it gets really heavy. This is
this is the best issue. Really?
It's heavy.
Yeah.
It's so heavy, this one.
Yeah, this is like, the last one's the last one. The last one's obviously awesome because it's the last one and everything happens. But this one, I was like, oh my God, like, I like, what's going to happen here? So we got Lamprey. Now here's the two here. They're trying to, okay, hold on. No, let's
capture the flag.
They're doing capture the flag. Yeah. So that's fine. This isn't the big stuff just yet. I love how he's throwing, Redstone is throwing shape.
Fastball special.
It's like, yeah, fastball special. Exactly. Throws them. That's fun. And they're going back and forth. And I think she uses her powers by accident here. And that's one of the things that, well, you get to see the new guys, the new recruits. So you could see that there's new recruits now. So we just kind of shorthanded. Okay, yeah, we have new guys. And you could see they're all Nighthawk's people. So he's fully infiltrated. He's got like 4 guys in there now. 1, 2. Yeah, he's got at least 4.
It's 5.
Is there 5?
Red Hawk, Moonglow, Thermite.
Oh yeah,
and
Thermite. I forgot. Yeah, Thermite. Yeah, is in there too. So we haven't seen him yet, but we're gonna see him. Yeah, Haywire's been in there. There's Inertia, and then there's Haywire. So there's Thingy. Thermite. So yeah, everyone. So all these guys have infiltrated now into the squadron. So yeah, they're doing capture the flag. That's fine. This is a great way to show everyone's powers, just as a quick. We don't want to spend all day going through their powers. It's like just show a couple of capture the flag, a few pages, and now we've got everyone's powers, and we're good to continue on.
And it establishes that the squadron members see them as teammates.
Right.
So that now there's a degree of trust that's built up, which we discover is trust that's been sadly misplaced.
But some of them feel bad about it too. I love that you cut back and they're like, I kind of like these guys and I don't want to betray them, but I'm on Nighthawk's team, but I kind of like these guys, so I don't know what to do.
The other thing, so where they're at now is a compound that Arcana shields from the rest of the world with an invisibility spell. Yeah. So they're at the sort of a squadron's base of operations. That's where all this is taking place, I think.
Yeah, we saw her do that. I think that was last stream, right? Last week.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, showing some of the people that we lost, which was Tom, Decibel, Nuke, Quagmire. We lost Amphibian. We lost Lady Lark. We lost Nighthawk right away, and we lost Archer right away, or not right away, but halfway through. So there's everybody that they've lost.
The dead and the departed.
Dead and the departed. Yep. So here's the swearing in.
That's what you're talking about. Yeah, that's what you were saying, J-Man.
Sorry?
That's what you were saying about, because you get the thought bubbles of how they feel when they're taking the oath, and that some of them really have second thoughts.
Yeah, like this guy's like haywire saying, "I feel rotten." Like this is, and then this is more disturbing, and then Thingy's saying this is more disturbing than I thought. Right? Like I'm going to have to betray all these people after I took this oath. Hey, Dino, how's it going? So they can't do. Yeah, I read this. We looked at this one, right? Yeah, but they could have just added. You want to keep her Archer honest? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you guys are in now. Again, this is so important. Now they're technically Squadron Supreme members, and they haven't been B-modded, but the old Initiate guys are B-modded. So if any of the previous villains notice anything weird about the new recruits, they can't call them out on it because they've been B-modded to not go against Squadron members.
And they have to do what they're told. They have to obey it. Which again is going to come back to bite the Squadron in a big way.
Well, that's look what Eagle says. We should have behavior modified them. Now we may never know if we can trust them until it's too late.
Yep. They should have B-modded them. I mean, they shouldn't be modded. I'm with Nighthawk. They should never B-mod anyone. But the problem is, like, you've already done it. So, like, it's just But then the other thing is, it's like, oh, God, I don't know. It's so messed up because even when you B-mod them and they are on your side, it still messes things up, right? Like, yeah, it's like
it's an interesting conundrum because morally, what Blue Eagle is saying is like awful. He's like, we should just B-mod these people, because we don't know if we can trust them. We don't know if they might betray us somewhere down the line. So we should just brainwash them now, so we don't have to worry about it. Which is, totally just friggin' evil. But on the other hand, from a practical point of view, he's right. And of course, we'll see what happens. But
this is the genius of Grunwald's writing, right? That he puts both points of view out there for the reader. Doesn't tell you which one is right.
Right.
Lets you make your mind up. I suspect that the three of us will have different takes at the end about, well, who really was right?
I know the thing. Yeah. Okay. So like, this is what I'm saying. This one to me was so good because I was just like all over the place. Like I didn't know what to do. So this is like, I mean, the last one has got all the pumped up stuff. So obviously the last issue is the last issue, but this is one of these ones where you're like, oh man, like I thought a lot about what was going on in this one because I got the Nighthawk here. And now we get to see a little bit of the quick backstory of, where Nighthawk's at and everything. And he's smooching with what's her name?
Mink.
Mink.
He's obviously kind of like his Catwoman.
Yeah. Yep.
I must cling to my principles at all costs, not myself become corrupted like the Squadron did. And then in a couple of pages, we see that all go away.
Right. So now here's the other thing. She's got to get the plans for the B mod machine. But she's got to mask everything so that no one knows that she's there. So Apex actually comes by and she uses her illusion powers to make it seem like there's no one there, and Apex doesn't notice.
God, there's a great look at this at bottom of that page. Yeah. Now then, I simply connect the computer to the modem and dial the number.
Well, that's how it goes.
Cue the dial-up sound.
Yeah.
Master Menace, priority red, incoming data on line 4072.
I remember because I got internet like the second it was, not the very second, like it was still news groups, but soon as there was like, websites started to come up and they were more proper websites and not just news group stuff. I got it. And I remember we had, I don't know what the first 56, I don't know if I think it was 56K was my first or what, but I remember like when it went up, like, I don't remember how high it went before we went to the high speed, but like I remember thinking, oh wow, I can download a movie, and you set the download, you go to bed and you wake up, you're like, yeah, the movie's downloaded. Now it's like you can set it up and go to the bathroom and come back and the movie's good. Anyway,
what do you lads think of Master Menace? Is he more Doctor Doom or Lex Luthor, or a bit of both?
He's more Doctor Doom in terms of his behavior, I think.
Yeah.
He doesn't refer to himself in the third person. That's one thing.
I mean, he's obviously supposed to be, Hyperion's Lex Luthor, but with the armor and the cape, and when he lives in a castle, he's more like Doom to me. But obviously,
yeah, he's a Doctor Doom kind of a character.
No, I got a bit sad at what happens 2 pages from now. So after Master Menace gets the plans.
Yeah.
I found
1 second. Let me just tell
Mohammed,
this is only 12 issues. So just read them. 100,000% read them. Read it tonight. In fact, we're going to be spoiling the crap out of it. You've got about maybe 5-10 minutes left before you should probably even not even watch the rest of this if you're going to read it. I'd rather you enjoy this and lose a view than you because it's going to be spoiled to hell in about like 5 minutes. So right now you're still safe. The fact that Eagle is like, hey, maybe we should brainwash, right? So his morals. Oh yeah. No, but Blue Eagle was already. He was like one of the first guys who really didn't need to be convinced of too many things, right? If I'm remembering, like I think he was one of the guys who was all for it, right?
He was very black and white. His view was once you break the law, you forfeited all your rights.
Right.
That was his view.
And I think it's a good example of, there's the old saying, when you have a hammer, every problem looks like a nail.
Right.
And so they've got this machine they can use that can brainwash people. And so it's very easy to look at that and say, okay, this person's a problem or a potential problem. Okay, well, let's just use the machine on them,
Yeah. She got the plans, sent it to Master Menace. Now I'm going to make a thing. Now, she sneaks out okay. Moonglow is able to sneak out. And while Apex is creating the little android Tom Thumb, and the computer, so even the computer it is messed up, right? Because the computer obviously has been programmed, right? So it's saying that there's been some security breach, and it's like, when did that happen? Oh, I can just 4 or 5 minutes ago. It's like, that's okay. I was like, I've literally been here this entire time. So then they see it's her. But now Apex is a former villain. So she cannot betray a squadron member who is now Moonglow has become a squadron member. So she can't betray them. But she has to report all security breaches to the squadron. So this is the Kirk outsmarting the computer, Landru, Landru's the first one that comes to my mind, but there's so many of these, computers where Kirk makes them like bust up their programming by just posing the questions to them. And I love all those. So Apex, I actually feel kind of bad. Is this who you're talking about? Or you kind of felt bad for her here?
Yeah, I felt terrible for Apex here because she gets stuck in a feedback loop, and that's it. Like that's her for the rest of the series. Is that she's basically? I mean, I get the feeling Apex actually enjoyed being good as well because she made a comment when Tom was alive. I've never done anything this fulfilling before, And then she puts a hand on Tom's shoulder and she's like, "If only I were human," And there's a bit earlier in the story where someone's complaining about something, and you can see her thought bubble is, "Yeah, well, imagine being a cyborg, a legless cyborg ape,
right,
with human intelligence." So Apex is quite a sympathetic character, and it's quite cruel that basically she's almost lobotomized by getting stuck in this feedback loop because it takes her out of the equation. Yeah, it's quite sad.
Yeah, this was pretty sad, and I also get the feeling that she would have been like a good, like she would have preferred to be a good guy.
Yeah.
So we take her to the hospital.
Let me hang on, get my box of tissues. Bit of a sniffle.
All right, so back at the Nighthawks headquarters, he's teaching Mink some martial arts. All right. Listen, buddies, I cracked the code. I mean, he cracked it in like what? What was did it give a time period?
Not exactly, I don't think.
It's like a month or something. I think they say it's something like whatever. So Menace was able to he can undo the B mod. So he created a B mod machine, then he can undo it now. This is back to them building those
the hibernacles.
Yeah, I love how he says live wire. No, it's haywire.
Haywire.
It's like, oh, okay, sure, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I keep calling him tripwire. Is what I keep doing.
Haywire. All right. Okay. So he puts the haywire. He puts the haywire on this guy. So they're capturing them, and now they're going to undo the B modding. So they're trying to get it, just do it one by one.
Well, they're really clever about it.
Yeah. Like they're luring them away and stuff. Okay. So he did it. Lamprey's back to normal. They captured Shape. They're going to do Shape next. And, here we go.
I love how they got him in this big ice cube.
Yeah. It's like this, it's like he's trapped in there. Okay, here we go, guys. This is the big one. They've captured Blue Eagle. So now, what are they going to do? The next few pages here are epic.
Yeah. That's the real... It's the real the moral debate inside Nighthawk's character.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So Nighthawk, I think I don't know if we don't want to talk about who our favorites are. Nighthawk's definitely my favorite. And even though I like the other Nighthawk from Defenders, I already liked that Nighthawk, so I was already kind of partial to the Nighthawk thing anyways, but this Nighthawk is awesome. I'm definitely going to have to get they've made a bust of him, so I'm probably going to get that. I have to get something. So what are you going to do with Blue Eagle? He knows what's going on. So options, you kill the guy, right? You can just kill him. Well, obviously Nighthawk doesn't want to kill him. Then they're like, oh, just B-mod him. Like, why don't we just B-mod him to be loyal to us? So he's like, no, that's literally that's like my main reason for fighting against the Squadron.
We would be no better than they are.
Right.
But look at what Master Menace says to him. You are talking idealistic nonsense, Nighthawk. This is a war we're fighting, a war to free this nation from tyranny. And if we're serious about winning, we will use every weapon at our disposal, including the enemies.
Yeah.
How do you suggest we deal with him instead? Kill him? And yeah, so Nighthawk has this huge moral, this moral question, and he does what he vowed he wouldn't do.
Now he does the absolute least amount. So he doesn't BMod him to be loyal. He just makes him forget that he saw this. I mean, if you have to pick something, I think this is a pretty decent compromise. Like you either just hold him captive, like that. Like if he holds him captive, the other Squadron Supreme members are going to look for him. If he kills him, obviously he doesn't want to kill him. He doesn't want to BMod him. So the least amount of damage is to make him forget that he saw this.
The lesser evil.
The lesser evil. This is the lesser evil of all of the evils. The lessest. Okay, forget the last hour. All you do is put him in a machine and say, "Be Canadian." That'll do it. No, that'll stop it, Phantom. Oh, that's funny. So they do it. It's like, I think I've just sold my soul. Wow. That was this last thing here was my favorite part in the whole series. It's like, you like literally you did this whole thing and now you used it. Wow. That was awesome. But he at least feels bad. And it was like, I guess, I know it doesn't mean anything. He still did it, but I don't know. I don't know what else could he have done? Really, I don't know. He could have just let him go and had the fight right there. All right. My only problem with this issue is that there's no fighting in it at all. So,
the last one. Yeah, they resolve it. They have a game of shuffleboard, and the team that wins decides the fate of the world. It's very civilized.
I thought that was a bit disappointing. If I'm being honest, I would have, one option was a coin toss. There was always the coin toss option, but yeah, shuffleboard. I mean, I guess if you have to pick something, shuffleboard is the most civilized way to end it. No, this issue is insane. Okay.
One thing that you have to say about Nighthawk is that while he's got these wonderful principles, none of his team share them. Right. There's nobody on his team as idealistic as he is. Black Archer is not in this fight because of free will or doing the right thing. He's trying to redeem himself after the behavior modification, so it's guilt. I mean, I don't know, Classic, you correct me if I'm wrong, mate, but I don't see anybody on Nighthawk's team who is there on principle except him.
No, not really. Well, I mean, Archer is kind of, but you could make an argument for him.
Yeah, he's more like, oh, I feel bad. Like, it's like he kind of came around, but it was through I did a thing and now I feel bad. So yeah, okay, I've kind of come around. Yeah, but it's weird. Yeah, do you think that if he undid what he did to Lady Lark, he would be okay with everyone else being demodded, though, right?
I don't know.
It's difficult to say.
That'd be tough. That's tough, right? I don't know. Would he be okay with?
He's definitely in it more for personal reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. How many Canadian supervillains are there? Phantom Outsider? I don't know. I guess is Sabretooth Canadian? I don't know.
Yeah, I think. Well,
I guess technically,
Deadly Earnest.
Yeah.
Tundra. Yeah. Bunch of Alpha Flight villains.
Yeah.
So there you go, but not nobody too crazy.
Deadly Earnest, boy, there's a throwback.
I don't know who that character is. I'll have to look that up.
It's Alpha Flight villain. He's from Montreal.
It's funny. I collected a lot of Alpha Flight, and I just felt like I would read a little bit and be like, "Oh, this is kind of boring." I don't know why. I just couldn't get into it, even though I have a bunch of issues. I got the first 10 when they came out, and then I've got sporadic ones, and then I just kind of gave up on it. I feel as being a Canadian,
yeah, it's your duty.
That's my duty.
So the next issue, there's a big exposition dump after they demod Foxfire, and then there's a further debate between Nighthawk and Master Menace.
Did we miss that or? It's hard to see it because I'm trying to look at the kind of look at the chat and this at the same. So this is really small.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually looking at it on the screen. I can't tell if we missed something.
I'm looking for a line actually that Master Menace. They ask him about the anti-BMod program, and he says something like, "Oh no, I've tested it. I've got some people out committing felonies right now."
Yes, that was so funny.
And it's like, so Nighthawk, by taking this road, has not only opposing the squadron, he's actually causing more harm to just the general public. So I guess at the end we'll discuss where we came down as individuals on the sort of moral debates of this
Right.
brilliant series. But I'm hinting that I'm not really on Team Nighthawk.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now we've got what you were saying, where you're kind of explaining what had happened in that Captain America. Now, the trade paperback, which is what I guess both of you have, that has that issue in there.
Yeah.
Now the digital one, you can get it. You can buy this digitally, and it has that issue as well. But I actually have that issue physically, and I've got the rest of the series. So I might still. I'm actually going to be next convention I go to. I'm going to look for the one with Mark's ashes in it. I think that'd be really interesting to have. It's probably a few $100 though, but I'll see. It'd be a neat little thing to have.
Make sure it's like the first printing, because
Right.
later printings don't have
don't have it. Yeah,
it's not the Ross cover, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
it's not the Alex Ross cover. I think the one you mean is a like on the TPB. The cover will be the same as the cover of issue 1,
and that has his ashes on it, or in it.
Well, I don't really know, but definitely the Ross one is a later edition. It's a later printing.
Yeah, is that what you have?
Yeah, I've got the Ross one. Classic would know better than me, though.
Yeah, I've got the Ross one, and it does not have the ashes in it.
Yeah. I think the one I saw, it actually says like there's a thing on it saying limited or something, like there's a sticker or something. I've got a poster with the guy who plays Jigsaw in the Saw films. His blood, he donated his blood to the ink, and I don't know if you guys are Saw fans, but every year, every time a Saw movie comes out, they do a blood drive with the Red Cross to coincide with the movie, and then they do special blood drive posters. So if you give blood, you get a poster or whatever. And then they did an edition where the guy who plays Jigsaw, the killer, he donated his blood. But what they did was they're like, why don't we mix it with red ink and print a bunch of limited edition posters? And all of the money from that goes to the Red Cross. So I bought a couple of those. It's pretty cool. So I've got his blood, and they're coated, like they're not paper, like it's got like a film over top of it. So it's like actually like a coated thing. I've got 2 of those.
So this issue, the title is "The Dregs of Victory."
Yeah.
So there's a heavy foreshadowing there that is not going to be a happy outcome for anybody.
No. All right, so I think at this point they've got everyone back to normal, right? I think so.
I believe so, yeah.
So the plan is to go back, wait for the signal, and then we're gonna finish this, and hopefully we can finish it without a fight. There's the shuffleboard, of course, is the one option. We'll see what happens though. So Lamprey,
Master Menace. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, Master Menace pulls Nighthawk up again and says, "What a dreamer you are. The squadron will oppose you to their dying breaths. If you truly wanted to win without violence, you would agree to my plan and use behavior modification on them all and force them to give up their devotion to the program." And Nighthawk says, no, behavior modification is evil. But as we're going to find out, right, Master Menace is actually right.
And I think Master Menace says we can turn them back after or something, right?
Yeah, well, his machine can modify or demodify people, right?
Yeah, so I think he was saying let's modify them now and then demodify them later.
Yeah,
I think
but
he
he won't
said
do
that at
that,
one
Nighthawk.
point.
Yeah, behavior modification is evil. One of the main reasons why I oppose the squadron, even if it were to be used for what I believe is good, it would be wrong. The ends do not justify the means.
Yeah,
And Master Menace says, I'm already as corrupt as them by most people's standards. Other people's morality doesn't interest me.
yeah, yeah.
And
That was
he has
that's
a
good.
great stinger before he teleports away.
Yeah,
In any event, I trust you'll let me know how your little war turns out, and if you're too squeamish to dispose of your enemies once you defeat them, I'll take care of that detail. You
yeah.
know?
Whoosh. Okay, so Lampree's like saying, "I'm going to kick the crap out of people because they suck." And now there's like an attack here, and they literally fly by and don't rescue anybody. Now here's where you see Foxfire kind of thinking like, "Oh, maybe we should rescue these people." So it's kind of hinting that she likes being a good guy
She did.
because she's saying, "Oh,
Well,
we
that's
can."
my take.
Yeah, no, I think that's what Grunwald is saying because she says here like, "Oh, we should go rescue, help these people." He's like, "Why? We don't need to. We're not heroes anymore. Who cares?" So it's like, all right, well,
Then it's normie time. It's
yeah,
normie time.
normie time. Da, da, da.
Well, it is. It's that thing where you get in the Justice League, the characters who are humans, essentially, like Green Lantern, for all his power is human.
Yeah,
The Flash, yeah, to a degree, but Green Arrow, those characters who are humans who have an artificial enhancement or something, who aren't godlike beings like Wonder Woman and Superman, right? That their morality, their approach to life, their perspective is quite different. And that's something Grunwald really shows us here very explicitly. I think that's one of the brilliant parts of his book.
yeah. Like, let's see what the regular Joes are kind of up to.
Yeah. And they're really regular folks.
Yeah, I
Like
think
you can see that like Spectrum's envious of Wizard. You got yourself a great lady partner. He's
right.
really envious of Wizard's really settled family life.
And then like, checking up on Apex, and now they're trying to and see Shape is kind of like liking. He's like still kind of a good guy, and then they're trying to get him on their side, saying, "Oh no, they were bad to you," and she makes it appear as though Apex is like talking to him and stuff, but really she's not. It's like, oh, I understand how you feel, Shape, but I got confused. Da, da, da. It's like I thought they were good guys, but they're bad. It's like, really? Oh, I don't know, and so well, that'll be important for later. Cut back to her. You can see her full Arcana's full belly there, and then you can see she's like makes herself using her magic. There's like the half pregnant look out and costume look. All right, so here's now Blue Eagle's trying to. I think here he's trying to kind of be a little bit friendlier.
Yeah, and I hadn't noticed that Redstone is carrying Tom Thumb.
Yes. So you're trying to be cool with them a little bit more, like, oh yeah, we're all good, and
yeah, actually, it's quite good because
sorry,
the hot tub scene's a bit goofy on the next page, but the hot tub scene's a little bit goofy, but
yeah. Well, this is all happening right before they're about to betray them all and have their like fight or whatever. So he tries to Thermite comes in there and he's like, oh, just leave him alone. He's fine. It's like, no way, I'm not leaving him alone. All right. So now remember, each issue is the month. So this is your last month of this plan. And they're saying, okay, everything's going good. We're gonna, like we got just, the finishing touches and we're going to let you guys take over now. And you guys,
yeah. Except national security, law enforcement, and maintenance of utopian technologies.
Yeah. And like, okay, thanks, great. Holding hands, going out, flying. This is the Lois and Superman kind of flight scene.
That next page though, right? So you know how you really enjoyed Nighthawk's moral quandary in the last issue.
Mhm.
You have a look at this page here and the speech that Power Princess makes about, what they've achieved, where
Yeah.
they were, you know, where they were and what they've achieved in a year and the price they paid. And she says, it was a year ago, America was in great social and political upheaval. Commerce and industry collapsed to the point half the country faced starvation. The specter of total war was loomed large on the horizon. And you look at what they've achieved. We said we'd restore the economy. We did. We created thousands of new jobs and revitalized it. Our industry with new technologies. We'd abolished poverty. We did. We've established food relief centers in all the low income areas of the country. We found jobs for everyone who wanted one. We've eliminated crime. The crime rate is down to 5%. Criminals are now well adjusted members of the nation's workforce. We've stopped war. America is at peace with the rest of the world. Our armed forces have been demobilized and nuclear armaments have been dismantled. And I'm assuming from the previous series, Overmind would have had the squadron disarm everyone else too.
Mhm.
So you look at the achievements, right? So you're
Yeah.
thinking, you know what's coming. You know that Nighthawk's about to strike, but look at what they've achieved in that time, and think about it. Are the human rights violations they've committed, and basically their elimination of free will in a segments of the population, does that justify those incredible achievements, right? There's another thing to it about how sustainable is that, but that's a pretty impressive speech. I thought it was
Mhm.
very well written.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You still have some people protesting with the right to die. And she's again saying it's your choice. You don't have to be a part of that program. You don't have to wear the watch. You can, take your chances. You get a disease, let it play out.
You don't have to take the shot. I mean, use the watch.
Yeah, you don't have to use the watch. Yeah, like I don't think I'd be angry that the watch exists or whatever. Right? Like, if you don't want to use it, then don't use it.
At least you get a little shot of Lady Lark too.
Oh yeah, that's right. She's in the crowd looking for. There she is.
There she is. Yeah.
He sees her. He's like, "Oh no, that's Lady Lark."
Is it a spoiler to say that after this series, she actually does rejoin the squadron?
No, I mean
she gets a pair of wings, and she becomes Skylark.
Let's not give that part away yet.
I didn't say where she got them from.
Well, okay, so now it's like, well, this is it. The confrontation, the shuffleboard confrontation. No, they're not going to play shuffleboard. Come on. Well, this is it. The confrontation. Let's he's like, hopefully everything will be okay. All right, so
I couldn't deal with Nighthawk's idealistic naivety. That really grated on me,
Yeah.
That he thought this could be done. He could be done without bloodshed. That he
thought
he wasn't going to have to. Yeah, that if he wasn't going to have to kill his friends, because that's essentially what he's going to have to do. If he wins, who knows? But
right. Okay,
that's just me, though.
Yep. Oh no, that was foolish.
Sorry,
even though I like Nighthawk, but like it's like, I mean, and I think he knows that too. I think he's like trying to think. There's that whole thing. It's like something where you're thinking to yourself, but deep down that it's wrong. Like that you're wrong. Like, oh, hopefully we won't have to kill anyone. But it's like, you're gonna have to. Like, why are you? Like, Master Menace was right in the sense of like, this is not gonna just go down the way you think. Okay, so they land. Here they are. This is basically the cover. So it's like, take all your shit down, stop all this. And look at the thing. He's like, yeah, fat chance of that happening.
Well, yeah. But what did Nighthawk think the villains were going to do after this? Like, say they defeat the squadron. What did he think that the villains, because he's created a team of villains, what did he think they were going to do? Right?
Yeah, like Lamprey is crazy. He wants to kill these people. Like,
The anyway,
squadron.
Go on, Jay, because it shit gets real at this point.
Sell things with the curling contest. Yes, we will. That's how we sell.
Oh, that would make so much sense with a bonspiel.
Yeah. Listen to reason. You can't do this. It's like the Luke Skywalker. I feel the good inside you. Let go of your hate. I feel the struggle within you. Let go of your hate. All right, so they're surrounded. This is the cover. You too, Fox? So he's like, oh shit, what the heck? She's in there. And now everyone's got their
what the Eagle says. What does the Eagle say? Told you so.
Was it in the next page or was it here?
No, same page, right next to what Joe says. So go over from Dr. Spectrum, then Whizzer. He's thinking about when he went to get the gun.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Told you so.
Yeah, we should have brainwashed these creeps. Like, right. Now, nobody knows that she's fully pregnant the way she is, which will come into a play. I was once a minority of one. I could not convince you all that what you had planned to do was wrong. Now I'm the majority. Uh-oh. You can't see the good what we've done. Now, this is good. It's like, can't you see the good that we've done in the past year? How can you deny it? I deny the way in which you've done it.
Now, here's a thought, because you remember he points out, when we first voted on the Utopia program, I was voted down because I was in the minority. But now there's like a majority of the people on the squad are basically people who are on Nighthawk's side. Couldn't they call it to a vote and then just vote to not use the modification machines anymore, or shut them down or something?
That's a good point.
That is a good point, but that assumes. So that's one of the difficulties with our whole civilization and the idea of law and legal systems reside on the notion that human beings can act rationally, whereas the truth is a lot of human beings can act rationally, but there are quite a few human beings who can't. So I mean, how many of that group can make a rational choice? Lamprey, he's just interested in killing people, He's got a great line coming up, Lamprey. I can't wait to get to that bit. But yeah, I hear what you're saying, Classic, though. Yeah, could they vote again? Maybe, but there's no way the Squadron are going to give up.
Right. Yeah, this debate, the whole, Thanos, when there's people, is Thanos right and all that? Well, he's crazy. Like, he thinks he's right because in his mind, which he thinks he's rational, he can't come up with any other solutions. Right. So it's like, if the Infinity Stones are there, why not, and he's like, oh, the population, like, it's like we're sucking resources. Well, why not make the resources more or something? Like you can do anything with the stones. Like, why eliminate life? Because he's not thinking.
Just make more planets, or maybe instead of killing half the universe, maybe just make half the universe infertile so they can't reproduce or something.
Right. Right.
There were other things he could have done.
Exactly.
He just wants to kill everyone because he's a freaking psycho.
He's psycho, right? So these people, it's like, I'm tired of this, like, right? It's like, oh, he was right, and then it's like, well, and then like, why didn't he do this, that, and the other? Because he's insane. He's crazy. So you can't trust Thanos. See, like, Thanos would just be like, yeah, we'll snap everybody out of here, and snap the bad people away. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, they don't call him the Mad Titan for nothing.
No. So here, sneakily, Spectrum uses one of his things here and I guess handcuffs everybody. Now we're going to get crazy. So let's try to follow this.
You see here how inertia, as Power Princess says, inertia's power is the most dangerous, and she is the most. She does the most damage of anybody in this battle.
Yeah, like, so Whizzer's already he's like the first one. Well, here these two guys Power Princess immediately goes to her. Whizzer takes out the closest guy. Blue Eagle punches him out. Whizzer's still going in the background, and then whoa! and then Inertia stopped that, and then she's basically like using Power Princess's power back, like throws it back at her. That knocks Spectrum, and that basically releases his hold on everybody, and now it's just like it's just like a mess. So like, who got hit? Okay, so it looks like friggin' Thermite. What's this guy's name again? The pink guy. He looks like he got nailed. And then who got? Oh no, he dodged here. Okay, I see. He tried to hit him. He dodged. It's like Nighthawk, Kyle. We've got to stop this. It's like you only.
So
okay.
Hyperion's really afraid of killing someone here. Since he killed his duplicate,
Yeah.
he hasn't really done any fighting since then. And he's look at what he says to himself. Well, I've stood here trying to figure out how not to hurt anyone. Spectrum has been down. Do something, man. Like, this is Hyperion to himself. And he's terrified of actually killing one of his friends or one of the team members.
Fanti is saying, Ollie, they just turned authority back to government. Decisions are no longer in the squadron's hands. Take your beef to the government. But they are keeping. They didn't give it all back to the government. They're keeping the big stuff.
Yeah, and the Utopia program is still running.
Mm-hmm.
So the government's just administering the systems they've set in place. Behavior modification is still happening on a large scale.
The dilemma here is that, which they're going to talk about in the next page or so, is that, like, okay, so these government guys, you can trust them to implement all this in the nice, kind way and blah, blah, blah. But what's going to happen if you start to get corrupt guys, or, eventually the system's going to collapse? That's sort of the problem. Like, how can it sustain itself? This is the Rorschach thing, right? Like, okay, Ozymandias has peace right now. What's going to happen, if his journal gets out there, but also, like, what's going to happen when people start to find out, hey, this squid thing was fake, or it was fake news or whatever, right? Like, it was manufactured by Ozymandias, or if you're going by the movie, it's like Manhattan isn't coming back or doesn't care, or, like.
And nothing ever ends, Adrian.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And
well,
that actually gets addressed in the 1998 series. Is it New World Order? That's one A classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that question gets addressed.
All right. What's that? So here we go. So it's like, now you got Redstone, who's your big, like, juggernaut-ish kind of guy, fighting Hyperion. He knocks his glasses off, so that messed him up. But he did manage to put a shield in front of him, so Lamprey, like, smashed his head into that. Now come back here, Arcana. I want to show you how I shish kebab. Now nobody knows that she's pregnant because she's got her magic working.
Look what Foxfire says, though.
Yeah, so she should be running.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a bit that I didn't catch the first time, but look at what Thermite says about Wizard. He says, "Here he comes. Shoot where he's gonna be, not where he is."
Right.
You can see that Thermite and Haywire have trained together to take the Wizard out.
Yeah.
Like, we saw Nighthawk training them a couple of issues ago. That this is what they were specifically trained for.
Right. Right.
Of course, and it has tragic consequences.
So he falls here in the wiring, and then so gotta get my feet on tangle. Whoa, not in my regulatory pack.
And then
boom, yeah. So this was this thing that was like kind of keeping his powers in check or whatever, right? Like the Iceman belt or whatever. Remember, Iceman had a belt for a while.
Yeah, when he was an X Factor.
Yeah. Okay, so she's nailing them. Here now, what's her face? Moonglow doesn't know about this, and she's trying to shoot at her, but she doesn't know that she's got the Arcana doesn't know that she's got the those.
She's going into labor. She's
going into labor right
at
now.
the end of her pregnancy.
Yeah.
She knows she's pregnant, but she didn't. But she was fooled by the illusion.
Right.
She says, "Did I hear her say what I think she said?"
Yeah.
There was gossip around the headquarters she was pregnant, but she never looked very far along. Or maybe she's trying to trick me and letting up on her.
Mm-hmm. I'm in labor. It's like, what? It's like, or maybe she's trying to, trick me. Uh-oh. Should I jump into the fray?
Yeah. Well, the next page, I felt maybe a bit sad, actually. It's one of those real moments.
Missed again, blind man. What a dick. I'm bored turning the princess's momentum back on her. Let me borrow some inertia from elsewhere. And then she like grabs from him and then hits her there, and she goes down bad, and she's just like beat to crap. She actually stood up to 3 Hyperion punches before collapsing. That's crazy. But Thing got her Spectrum, nailed her from behind.
Which is a big thing for him, because he says, I swore I'd never use my power prism for combat, but I'm not going to stand by and see a friend get murdered.
Yeah. Now, Archer, this is cool. Archer shoots him and breaks the prism. Now he becomes the White Vision bird, pretty much. So, like, he basically becomes the prism. Is that what happened? Like, he is the prism now.
He kind of absorbs its power, its properties.
Yeah, its shards cover him, and I guess the power transfers into him. And then we get a resolution to the love triangle.
Yeah, because he just got smashed in the head. That's crazy. He nailed him pretty good.
He meant to kill him when he said he's going to pay in spades. He fully intended to kill him.
Yeah. Now for Nighthawk, another traitor. All in. Now, Shape is still kind of like, he loves Arcana and the kids and all that. And he's like, she's not bad though. She's not bad. And then this is her illusion powers, and she kind of crawls away. Didn't Apex tell you to listen to me, Shape? I'm telling you, Arcana is bad. She doesn't really like you, Shape. She's in the, bam, punch her in the friggin' face. What happened to Moon, Arcana? She say, it's like, never mind that, Shape. I need your help. Need your help, please. And then he helps her. And look at this. Isn't that cool? I did not. I actually, that got me. I was like, oh, she's been making herself look good.
Moonglow's real appearance.
Oh, that's so cool. Now he's infused with he's like infused with the prism now. Here comes Lamprey to suck some energy from, so he gets Hyperion's thing. She picks up, she moves Archer's body to talk to him. So it's like, oh, so she did love him. So here's where, I think she did love him.
That's what I meant when we were talking about earlier. Yeah, I love you, Joe. I know that now. I was just confused. I went along with the crowd. Now you died thinking I betrayed you. Yeah, so that classic is why I think Foxfire actually did love him all along, because now the behavior modification's been removed. She's not under its influence anymore, but she still loves him.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe so. She was brainwashed in order to be good, and then she fell in love with them, and then she realizes that she still love him anyway. But was it because, like, she wouldn't have loved him if she hadn't been turned good in the first place? But she wouldn't have gotten to know.
If her mind was restored, though, yeah. But if her mind was restored, so she never would have been in a relationship with him had she not been B-modded in the first place. Right. But now that B-modding's been removed, she doesn't revert to who she was before. She's like, no, actually, I love you. And you see what she does in a page or so as a result.
Yeah, so now Lamprey's all juiced up, though, from absorbing powers. This is bad. Oh, this is crazy. Hey, Remnant, watch.
Here's the line. That's it. Yeah, say it.
Watch him turn red.
Watch him. I love that. Hey, Remnant, watch Blue Eagle turn red.
Yeah. Okay, so now he's aiming for Bouncing Boy here, or whatever, pinball guy.
Pinball.
He's like, oh shit, no, wait, he's trying to land on Pinball. this is crazy. Boom, like just the force here. And that basically killed both guys. Penny,
Lamprey,
Penny.
get an ambulance. Lamprey, get an ambulance. There's a chance. Forget
that.
I got some heads to bash.
Yeah, he doesn't care. You can put him down anytime, Redstone. Puts him down. Hyperion, I know you can hear me, even though you're too weak to even open your eyes. In case you're wondering, it's all over and you lost. Spectrum, Wizard, Eagle, and the Princess, they've all been downed, just like you. Only Arcana has managed to escape, but Lamprey is looking for her now. Did Nighthawk know how pregnant she was? I
don't think so.
He would. No, he wouldn't have.
He wouldn't have known, right? Okay, so they're all pretty much down. Give me the glasses. He puts the glasses on. Here, glasses, old friend. Where's the? So this is all pretty good, like stuff here that he's talking. We'll offer criminals the option of. Okay, so we will offer criminals the option of undergoing the anti-behavior modification, the means by which we liberated Lamprey, Foxfire, and Shape from your control. Okay, we will reopen the prisons, legalize guns, remobilize the armed forces. The Hibernacle program will never get off the ground. In short, we will restore everything to the way it was. So now she's still with him here. Be careful. So I'm going to go prove it. So she's like, I'm still with you. I'm going to go prove it. Which we're going to see what she's going to do in a second.
And this is the part here that really, it gets to the heart of this whole issue for me, because Nighthawk says, you've created this perfect system, but it's a system that requires you to keep it going, right? And it's a system in which you have absolute power. Now, you, the Squadron, you're more or less good people, so you may not abuse that power, but eventually you'll be gone and someone else is going to have to take over and keep this going in your place. And they're probably not going to be so benevolent.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think that's where it convinced me with Nighthawk as well.
That is a legitimate argument. But at the same time, watching how humans have run the show, allowing the country to slip back to something worse, if even maybe back towards the state it was when they started the Utopia program. I mean, to me, it's not quite so cut and dried. I mean, given that they've eliminated poverty and starvation, right? I mean, how do you sell the idea of free will to starving children?
You can also, though, you can make the argument. I mean, the reason that the country was in such a mess in the first place is in large part because of the Squadron. And admittedly, it's because they were being manipulated. They weren't in control of their minds. Someone usurped their minds.
Right. So in this new utopia, someone could like, Overmind 2 comes back and controls them, and now they control the whole planet. So again, it's the same. They could become bad guys again, right?
Well, the thing is, I don't think it matters so much. One system of control, the Utopia program system of control, is a more complete system of control than the so-called democracy that we have in our world, right? Which is what the Squadron's world was before they took control of America, right? But our version of democracy has has a chance as well for crappy leaders to take control, and do nothing but enrich themselves at the expense of the people and pass really draconian laws, which the United Kingdom is seeing now. So, I mean, I'm not 100% convinced that we'll leave it to the humans to run things for themselves. I'm not convinced that that's necessarily the better overall solution. Both solutions are fraught with the possibility of bad leaders coming in and creating a totalitarian state. But if I look at the two on balance, I'm not entirely convinced the Squadron were entirely wrong. I mean, it is like free will against how do you sell to people, well, you guys were starving, but free will was more important.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's arguments on both sides, and that's the brilliance of the comic, is that you can go away with questions. You don't have to come to an answer, and you can still really enjoy it. You know?
Let's finish it up because we're close to finishing, and then we can. Okay, so she comes back. She came to. She killed. Sorry. She runs to kill Nighthawk. Gives him a heart attack right there. He just boom dies. Bitch, you killed the coolest character. Kyle, what in blazes did you do, woman? It's like, don't make me do it to you, pal. Jumps over. What'd you do to him? It's like, cause the tissue of his muscles to weaken, giving a heart attack. There's no pain. And then here comes Wolverine. Mink stabs her, double in the back, Wolverine style. No, and then he just nails her. Now you can see that he turns whatever color, whatever thing he's using, he becomes that color. And then he overloads Lamprey.
Boy, that is so satisfying.
Yeah, he's a dick.
Such a satisfying resolution for Lamprey's character.
Yeah, he's an ass. Screw him. He blows up. Good riddance. Yeah, I agree with you, buddy. It's like, screw that guy. And then it's like, well, Supreme hereby surrender. The Squadron Supreme surrenders. So they just surrender. And then you go through all the people that passed away, but there's someone being born. So there you go. The end.
Inherits Benjamin Thomas Jones, age 3 minutes 14 seconds, inheritor of the future.
Yeah. So what? I love this. Oh, hold on, I gotta sneeze. Give me a second. I'll mute myself. No, I can usually tell I'm gonna sneeze and like gives me like I usually have like a 2-minute warning system. I don't know. Let's see what Phantom said. Okay, so they just could have tapered it off if people wanted to be unmodified. Fine, but I don't know if they could choose to be unmodified. That was weird. Like you'd be like, no, I'm fine. I'm happy. Like,
yeah, exactly. Could you make the choice to go back to your previous way of being? Because remember, all the people who were unmodified were forced into it by Nighthawk.
Right, they didn't want to be unmodified.
No, they didn't. They all resisted. Even Lamprey.
Right, who was so happy afterwards. So let me take a look. What was that thing called? Squadron
Supreme New World Order.
New World Order, yeah, here it is.
1998.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, so what happened to the Squadron after this? You know, as RR has mentioned, a couple of years later, there was a graphic novel called Death of a Universe.
Yeah.
And at the end of that story, the Squadron wound up back on the Marvel Earth again. And they were stuck there. And this was like right at the end of the 80s. And they were basically there for about a decade. They actually appeared in that Quasar series I've mentioned.
Oh.
Is that where Hyperion's sight gets restored?
I think so, yeah. And then subsequently, towards the end of the 90s, there was a new Avengers series that came out of the Avengers Reborn and then Heroes Return event. And then the Squadron made an appearance in that again. And then after that, they returned to their own Earth. And when they went back to their own Earth, this story took place, the New World Order thing. Although I think this is Death of a Universe, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Death of the Universe he's got there.
Yeah.
J-Man, you want to take your time reading that, mate? Because there are some resolutions to some characters that you'll probably enjoy.
So I'll read this. So I'll read this one on my own.
Yeah, I'll say about if you don't mind me saying about New World Order, I read it and I don't think. Now, who was it? Kurt Busiek helped write the Avengers Squadron Supreme crossover, but who was the guy who wrote New World Order? Len somebody. Oh God, Sorry, I lost it. But
I don't remember. I believe
he
Mike
didn't.
McCone did the art, I think.
Yeah, Mike McCone did the art. He didn't, although it doesn't look like Mike McCone. So the colorist must have been quite overpowering. Because you see Mike McCone in like that in that old Legion comic, Legion '89, and Mike McCone's art really comes through. But anyway, blah blah blah. But what I was trying to say is, I don't think the '98 series got the characters right. Because I was watching, reading it, looking at what they say, the way they act, and they weren't the same as the characters we've just read about in this story and in Death of a Universe, right? They
Well, that's probably true, yeah. But the thing is, the Squadron here in this series, they're characterized differently than they had ever been before. In all their previous appearances, they were largely antagonists. And they were generally depicted as being very arrogant and very kind of cocky when they faced the Avengers. So their characterization here is significantly different than any characterization of them previous to this.
fair play, but I think that more should have been done because I read a digital version of the TPB of New World Order, and it's dedicated to Grunwald. But I think that it's not disrespect, but they don't like that they should have been consistent with his characterization of the characters in the story. Like I think that they should have continued them because Hyperion gets really stupid all of a sudden. And Whizzer isn't like his family man aspects are downplayed, and Arcana a little bit as well. But they bring back the Skrull, and they bring back Amphibian.
Yeah, and there's
and
a new Nighthawk as well.
Yeah, there is, and you see you see Blue Eagle's legacy, and you see what happened after the Utopia program, right? So I like that they explored that a bit, but I do think that the characters they're not quite right. You know what I mean? Like there should have been a little more effort to be consistent with what we've seen here. Just given it's such a great piece of writing by Grunwald. That's just me. That's just my take.
I wanted to. I know Phantom Outsider saying actually when the Squadron was in prisons, they made it voluntarily. Yeah, they made it voluntary if you wanted to get B modded, but if you've already been B modded and then they ask you, hey, we B modded you because it was voluntary and you said okay to it. Do you want to go back? They're going to say no. So like if you didn't want it and you were forced on it, you're just going to say no. And if you wanted it, you're still going to say no anyway. So I don't know. Like, I think what you would have to do is almost like you'd have to unmodify everyone you modified, like bring them all back and be like, now that you've had a taste of both things, which do you want to be like, or something like that. I don't even know how you would fix it. Like, how would you go about? But
then you've restored them to criminal state, right?
Yeah.
You've restored them to a state where they're capable of criminal acts and evil. And do you then re-imprison them, or do you set them free? Do you set them free into society to cause mayhem? Right?
No.
I mean
yeah. If you're okay, so the prisoners. See, this is okay. What you have to do is you have to unmodify everyone that you've modified, put them back to where they were prior to you modifying them, and then that's it. Dismantle the machines. Or if you're going to keep the machines, you'd have to almost ask them again. I don't know. It's like because you can't.
No, you can't. Yeah, it's such a difficult problem, and that's the genius of Grunwald's writing, that he can let us wrestle with these issues. That's the brilliance of this book.
It goes back to
what Nighthawk said. You hit on it, Jay. When you're talking about how Nighthawk in issue 11 has that big crisis of conscience and realizes that he has become as bad as the Squadron himself.
Yeah.
And he's only going ahead with his plan because he knows that it's a greater evil he believes it's a greater evil to let the Squadron, continue with what they're doing.
And
that's the.
Sorry, you go ahead and finish.
No, I was done. You go, Comics.
I was going to say, in Nighthawk's defense at that point, they know that if you do the behavior modification on someone, you can undo it. so
Right,
they know
right.
that they could later undo what they did to him.
So
Yeah, that's true.
but okay, they why would they want to redo? No, but they said we'll let you go if you get B mod. So if you're gonna, it's like you could be life in prison, or we B mod you and you're good to go. It's like, okay, I'll take that. I mean, that is too, like, almost who wouldn't want that?
Who wouldn't? Exactly. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
You're serving 3 life sentences for murders or some horrible crimes. I can put you through this machine. You'll be pardoned. You'll go free. So, right now, and you'll never be able to commit crimes like that again. Who would say no?
But here's a question, and this is Clockwork Orange. This is a Clockwork Orange. You let them go. So you got a murderer. You let him go because he's B-modded. Well, now the families of the people he murdered can get the revenge on him. And then do they go to jail? And then do you B-mod them?
Yeah. Well, there's no simple answer, right?
That's crazy, right?
Well, that's the genius of this book.
That's awesome.
It's about the complexity of human nature, free will against security, and there are no simple answers, right? There are no easy answers to this, and that's what makes this book so amazing, And
no, for sure,
deserving of so much more praise than it's been given.
Yes, but if you unmodified, would you want to go back? No, I know you wouldn't want to, but what I'm saying is that Fanti, I think we lost track of what we were talking about initially. You had said allow people to choose whether they want to be unmodified or not. But I'm saying the second you got modified, you're not going to choose to unmodify, even if it was for, like, good reasons or bad. Like the villains were forced into the prisoners were given a choice, but the Institute of Evil, or whatever they were called, I don't remember what they're called. The Institute of Evil, they were not given a choice. And they weren't given a choice to be modded in the first place, and they weren't given a choice to be unmodded. So when they were unmodded, then Foxfire, Shape, who else? They decided to be good because they liked the fact that they were good. But again, you don't know if that was genuine or if that was just a leftover, like imprint or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to say it, but
yeah, it's a lot of it's open to your interpretation. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. That's like I keep saying, that's the genius of this book. That it leaves us with these interesting questions to go away with and think about. And I don't think there's any really right answers to them. I mean, it depends. To me, I come down more on the side of the Squadron's Utopia program, perhaps at least certain aspects of it being very well justified. Whereas if you're very much a free will person, then definitely not. But that's all right. We can all still enjoy the story.
For sure. No, this was awesome. And then if you're going to go that deep, then you have to start thinking, like, is there such thing as free will anyways? Right. But, so that you can really go down a rabbit hole and just keep going forever into this conversation. But I mean, as a story, it's awesome. What I liked about the story in general is that it still has all your superhero tropes of good guys and bad guys and impersonations and, there's a duplicate guy, and and it's like, the villain and the hero have to team up for this. So it gives you all of those things that all the other superhero stories do, but it also gives you all this other stuff to think about, and it leaves you with some of these questions. So it gives you all of that as well. Plus, it gives you a lot of good action. I feel like in these 12 issues, so many things happened. Like if you took these 12 issues and you took 12 issues of, whatever's out now, like, I don't know, pick a comic, right? Or whatever, I don't know, X-Men or something. It's like, okay, pick up these 3 issues of 12 issues of X-Men and put them against these 12 issues of Squadron. And like, so many things happened in Squadron, and so many, and nothing happened. And especially just like, because I said X-Men, like X-Men, for example, was like a lot of quiet council discussions, like, mutants and all this. It's like, guys, this is all boring dialogue. I mean, there's tons of discussions in this comic, and they're all super interesting and meaningful. and all you did was write dialogue in order to fill an issue. And it's just, even with older comics, even in general, they don't have to be as good as Squadron, but even if you just take a random one, like we're doing Fantastic Four, like in one issue of Fantastic Four, you get so many things going on. And in one issue of anything now, it's just like nothing happened. You're just like, I read this and I like, what the, and it's not even great art. Like, I love the 90s comics and people make fun of those because the storylines are pretty weak and but everything looked awesome. And it was all action. So at least you looked at it as an art book. Now you don't. Now the art sucks and the story sucks. So you're like, well, what am I buying this for? At least you looked at on some of those other comics. Like I like Spawn and all that. You're like, oh, this looks, at least it looks cool and there's monsters.
And you're paying $5 an issue now too.
Right, which is great. Actually, Spawn is still $2.99. Wow, but everything else is like $5. It's in Canada. It's like $6.50. It's $6.50 a comic. I mean, how am I even?
That's crazy.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Before GST.
Yeah, there's tax. GST. I think it's like so if a comic is $5, my store makes it $6.50. So it's like and then there's tax, and you're like, this is insane. It's like, I mean, I bought 3 comics and it's like $21, and you're like, $21. I mean, holy crap! Like, I mean, I could have bought a movie, right? Then at least you have 2 hours worth of.
You wonder how the industry will survive, given the increase in cost, the decrease in quality. You wonder if the comic industry will survive.
It's in a downward spiral. I think they'll continue in some form, but comics are basically getting to the point to where they're going to be like vinyl records. They're going to be strictly a sort of niche boutique kind of thing. Yeah,
for sure. All right, guys. Well, we're going to end it up there. This was like just fantastic. I'm so happy about this. I'm going to read those other ones. I'm definitely going to get some kind of there's some figures I'm looking at. I need to get something. I can't just buy a comic. Me, I have to have something on the shelf here. But thank you so much for joining me on this and for recommending it. It's awesome. And again, if there's anything else, maybe we can set something up again. In the future, another series or something like this where we just do 1 stream or 2 streams on it. I had I'll say this, I don't know if you've gone back to these streams, but I get notifications, right? I had a couple of notifications of someone saying, I love your content. I love that you're doing Squadron Supreme, but really 3 hours to discuss only 6 issues. And I responded back to that guy saying, oh, thanks for your feedback. But I said, I actually thought it was too short. I thought 3 hours was too short, which is hilarious. I guess people want bite size. Like I can't give you a 5-minute Enterprise review on Squadron Supreme. Like even for me doing Enterprise in 5 minutes is like I basically just quickly give you my thing.
Those first 6 issues are so dense.
Yeah,
they really, because they set the basis. All the action that we reviewed today is set in motion by those first 6 issues. Like all those issues that come, like the gradual creation of technologies that make the Squadron's Utopia program work. The introduction in episode 4 of B modification, what happens as a result. We really needed to talk that through because there's so much groundwork to lay before you can understand. You can't just read issue 1 and issue 12 and go, oh yeah, I fill in the gaps.
All right. Okay. Classic, what's going on your channel? I went and watched those trailers. Holy crap, you have like 180,000 views on that one. I was like, oh my god, it's pretty cool. So you're just like putting that together? Like that looks awesome. Like it's just like a for fun project you're doing, or?
Yeah, I just kind of did it just to see how it would turn out. But yeah, like you said, I've gotten a great response on it, so I'm going to do more of those. And now that I've got this exam out of the way finally, I'm going to start. I've actually already kind of started on a couple of others. So hopefully I'll have something out here on my channel here in the next week or so.
Awesome.
And I'll be doing a Trek Talk Tuesday on another episode of the original series. I'll be looking at the alternative factor.
Yeah, and yours are way more, obviously way more in depth than mine are. I didn't want to, because I know that a lot of you, I know, and you were doing this, and also Clobby and his people were doing it, and I didn't want to kind of like try to step on people's toes. So I thought I'm just going to do my quick 5 minute, or like some of them go 7 minutes. I'm like, oh, this is going on forever. It's like just my quick kind of just my space system really quickly. This is a 9 out of 10. Here's why I think it's 9, and then I just move on. I'm trying to make it fast, so I'm not stepping on other people's toes, because I know you guys, like, you want to go in depth and get the themes and all that. It's like I can't do that. I'm doing too many other things to get in there.
Well, so many people, they do Star Trek reviews. It's hard to do it and try to do something different or do a new spin on it of some kind.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do Blake 7 100%, because I love Blake 7, and Clobby got me into that. Without him, I would. And Avon's my favorite character. Like, he is now my favorite television character, and I watched all of that because of Clobby. So I have to do it. I love Avon so much. I've watched every Paul Darrow interview thing. I just go on YouTube and I just type Paul Darrow and do everything. I've listened to it. I've got his audio book of his biography. I've got the physical copy too. I'm getting all the Big Finish stuff that he voiced. So it's just like, I've got to do, and those might be a little bit longer, but I don't think there's a lot of Blake 7 people out there doing stuff. So hopefully that'll be cool.
What might be interesting to do, maybe for a future stream, is so in the early 2000s, the Marvel did their Ultimates universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did these sort of updated versions. So
yes.
Not long after that, Marvel hired J. Michael Straczynski, the creator of Babylon 5,
yep,
to do basically a kind of Ultimates version of the Squadron Supreme, and he did a reboot of them. And it might be interesting to do a stream and talk about that series.
What year was that? 2000?
I don't remember the exact year, but it's in like the mid 2000s.
Like the Supreme Power thing.
Yeah, Supreme Power.
I can remember.
What's it called?
Supreme Power. I'll be honest, classic. I wasn't a fan of the.
Not a fan of it?
No, well, just the take. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. People have to decide for themselves, right? But I will say this about Squadron Supreme, right? You don't come away from the story hating the concept of superheroes. You walk away from Watchmen thinking about the concept of superheroes as pretty fucking, pardon my language, pretty darn dodgy. But Squadron Supreme, even though it deals with all the complex issues we talked about, is still a love letter to the Justice League of America. It is still a superhero story, and one that shows a lot of love for the genre. It doesn't deconstruct.
Right.
Not at all.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Perfect. We're gonna end off on that. That's a perfect way to say it. I agree with you. Okay. Well, thank you to both of you, and thank you to everybody in the chat. Thanks to the Legionnaires and the subscribers, and hopefully we'll see you on Monday for the Legion live stream. That's it. Until next time, everybody.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.